On this week's episode, well, we're talking about a love story as old as time. Now grab your tickets, because we're getting to the theater. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Getting to the Theater. I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Etta.
I'm Jeremy.
On today's episode, we're talking about the 2007 movie Lars and the Real Girl, directed by Greg Gillespie.
I love this movie.
No, I liked it. It was a decent movie. It was very sweet. Everyone in this town was
They're the
delightful.
best town. Not the most diverse town,
Definitely
but the
not.
best town.
Yeah, I was saying that while we were watching. I'm like, this is a very strong community, very close knit. All these people are very helpful for the most part, and I honestly I can't think of a lot of communities where you would have gotten that. And I'm just like, this is definitely some small town community vibes right here.
Yeah.
I think they're from, what did we say, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
We looked it up?
Like the tippy top of Wisconsin. Like, I think the part that's attached to Michigan.
Yeah. Every scene in this movie makes me feel cold.
So cold.
But a brief summary of this film is...
I'm doing geography in my head because Michigan is the one that looks like a glove.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a glove,
Yeah.
It's a little mitten.
It's yeah.
little mid.
But this movie is about a man named Lars, played by Ryan Gosling. He's very lonely.
This is the first time I saw ugly Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, he has a
Yeah,
little...
he doesn't wear a beard great.
No.
I think he wears a beard good, but
Yeah, because
just the mustache alone
Yeah, mustache by itself.
was not working. But he had that little round, chubby-looking face.
Well, a lot of people can't pull off a mustache. So.
That's true.
They did a good job making him look how he was supposed to
Awkward?
look. Yes,
Very awkward.
They did a great job of it. I would say until the very end, when they kind of had his hair done up at the last event. Then I'm just like, okay, now I feel like he looked a little better in that shot.
Well, that's
Yeah.
probably character development. He was more put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this movie is about Lars. He's very awkward around people. He doesn't know how to interact with anyone, especially around his sister-in-law. The way he copes with that is he orders a real doll off the internet, and he presents it as his girlfriend. And he talks to her like she's a person. He responds like if she were talking to him. And his entire town, his brother, his sister-in-law, their doctor, everyone is joining in on this to try
co-workers.
his co-workers. They're all joining in on this to help Lars through whatever he has going on. They're trying their best to do what's best for him.
To feed into this delusion.
Yes, his delusion. But yeah, this was one Erica's been trying to get me to watch for a long time. I just never got around to it, and I finally had a good excuse.
I used to own this on DVD. I watched it a lot because it made me chuckle. And it was really sweet and heartwarming.
It is. It's very, very heartwarming.
Yeah.
But our movie... well, actually, before we get into what the movie starts, our director, Mr. Greg Gillespie, if I'm saying that correctly...
I would say Gillespie. That sounds right.
Yeah. He looks kind of like a young James Cromwell from Babe.
I don't like that hat he seems to be addicted to wearing. He
The
looks
Kangol hat?
Yeah, he looks like he could be a part of Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. He did, the same year as this, 2007, he also directed a movie called Mr. Woodcock, which is a Billy Bob Thornton comedy. I saw it in theaters, not good. Fright Night remake with Colin Farrell.
A Kid Cudi music video.
Yeah, No One Believes Me music video. The Finest Hour.
Oh, he did I, Tonya?
Yeah. The Greatest Gift. He directed Cruella. He's also working on Cruella 2.
Oh, they're making a sequel to that?
Yeah.
Who asked?
He's also directing, this one I'm looking forward to. He's directing Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Under James Gunn.
Oh.
So, I hope that's good. Because I think he did a good job with this film. But this movie starts, we meet Lars Lindstrom. And he's just staring out the window. He lives in the garage like a garage apartment behind his family home.
Like a mother-in-law suite.
Yeah, very much so.
It took me forever to realize that it was a garage.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, until when she was just like, it was delivered in the garage. And I was like, I swear to God, if he lives in the garage.
Which he did.
He did!
Yeah.
And I was like...
His brother does eventually feel remorse for that.
My God, don't even get me started on Gus.
His brother Gus, played by Paul Schneider, he does have that line later in the movie about he wasn't there to help Lars when they were younger. He like just kind of left because he couldn't deal with their dad being sad. And that didn't help Lars in his situation at all, and he felt bad about it. And when they inherited his house, he very tearfully in the moment is like, and Lars moved out to the garage like the family dog. And he feels bad about it.
Which makes me worry that they're putting the dog in the garage. Oh, I guess they can't because Lars is there. But
I mean, they don't have a dog.
Yeah, but if they had a dog, I'm like, would they put this dog in the garage in this Wisconsin cold?
I mean, it's better than being outside.
It's
And
heated.
Lars is in a heated little apartment.
Heated and cold, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it literally looked like a little mini cottage.
True.
It honestly reminded me of my first apartment. My first apartment was very tiny, and it was like a house that had been turned into like a triplex. So we meet Lars, like the opening credits roll, and it immediately cuts into Lars just standing at the window, staring out, 1,000-yard stare. And he has, which I didn't catch this on my first watching, but he's got a little baby blanket that he wears almost like a scarf everywhere in this movie. And his sister-in-law comes out, played by Emily Mortimer, Karen, and as soon as he sees her, he recoils and he tries to hide. Like, hopefully she won't see me behind the window. And she comes up and knocks, and he's very hesitant to answer the door. But when he does answer the door, she's inviting him to breakfast.
And she's done this before because she knows where to look for him. Because he, like, hides in the corner.
Yeah, and she constantly says, "We miss you."
Right.
Because he's been very reclusive. And the reason for that is kind of revealed later on, which I don't want to spoil it just yet.
Yep.
Which Erica had to explain it to me because I was a little lost.
Didn't I explain it to you?
Yeah, because it didn't initially hit me.
Yes, exactly. Same for me. And she's like, "Will you come to breakfast?" And he kind of like everything that she invites him to, he comes up with an excuse. But you can tell even in this moment he doesn't try to make it believable. It feels like he's just saying it to just say something.
Right.
Because he doesn't know how else to react.
To get rid of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I gotta go to church." She goes, "Okay, after church then." He goes, "Yeah."
Okay. Well, anyway, that's what he said a lot was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she goes to I'm thinking I might have it a little out of order, but I think the first time he does say okay, and then he just goes to close the door, and she's like, "Well, are you coming?" And then he says he's going to church. And he just closes the door on her.
But doesn't he give her
He gives her the blanket.
He does give her the blanket, you're
Yeah.
right. Because he says it's cold, and then he asks her, "Can you put it around your other shoulder too?" It's supposed to be around both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Karen's very, very loving and supportive
Karen's
of Lars.
the best.
Like, she realizes that, like, look, he needs something. We don't know what it is, but we want him to know that we're here for him. And she runs back into the house, and she runs back into bed, and her husband, Gus, is like, "You owe me $5. Or she says he owes her $5.
Right.
That's right.
But he says, "No, I'm not paying up until he's at the table."
Mm-hmm.
And they go back to bed. Lars goes to church, and we get a glimpse of Margot, who is played by Kelly Garner. And she's in, like, the church choir, and she's kind of watching Lars, and he's sitting in the back. And there's a lady with her son in the pew next to him. And he does this really funny thing where he goes to pick the kid's toy up off the floor and set it back on the pew. But he doesn't balance it right, and it falls again. And he recoils, and he, like, covers his face like, "Oh, fuck. Oh, God, they're going to notice me."
Yep.
And I think then it shows him coming home.
Wait, let's circle back and talk about Marco real fast. This girl has no self-respect. I was like, girl, leave him alone. He doesn't want you.
Look, she's just a little church girl, all
I mean,
right?
she wasn't being rude about it, though.
No, but she was like, it was like, when he pops up with the sex doll, then I would have been like, all right, well, this is not the man I want.
She's just a nice church
Yeah,
girl.
but
She tried.
everyone in the town
try.
is trying to help Lars.
Yeah.
Whereas we learned in our Never Been Kissed episode, you are pro fictional character bullying.
I am, but I don't want to bully Margot. I don't want to bully Margot.
But you want to bully Lars.
No, I don't want to bully Lars either.
Gus though.
I just think, had it been me, if he, and especially at the end, when we find out what he does to poor Bianca, I'm just like, girl, if he's willing to do this to this doll.
But have you ever been a good, wholesome white church girl?
No.
No, so you cannot put yourself in Margot's shoes.
Huh.
Margot saw this man that she wanted to be with that went to her church. And she's just like, that is a good Christian boy. And that's who I want to be with. And works with. So, yeah, it's just like, we can make this happen. Everything will work out. We work at the same place. We go to the same church. I can see everybody he, talks to. This is a good match.
I mean, she's like, yeah, he's a little awkward, but, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
I'm going to give this a shot.
And she knows he ain't messing around, too.
I don't know, because when they went bowling, I was like, ooh, if he's willing to cheat on this doll.
Look.
He didn't cheat on, he never cheated on
He
Bianca.
sat down most of the
We're
time.
getting way ahead of ourselves.
Right.
Way ahead of ourselves.
Right.
He's a good man. And she was just like, you know what? I want that man.
And he wasn't talking to anybody else.
Literally, or being touched by anybody else.
Yeah.
That's true. But when he's leaving church, he asked Miss Gruner,
Yes.
nice old lady in the town.
All up in his business.
Yeah, played by Nancy Betty, maybe? She's going to pick up this big bouquet of flowers, and he's like, do you need help with that? She says, oh, yeah, please. And they're walking outside, and she goes, Lars, you got a girlfriend? You're a very handsome young man. He goes, no, I don't have one. She goes, you gay? My grandson's gay. I know all about the gays.
I know all about the gays.
He goes, no, I'm not gay either. She goes, well, you should meet somebody. When you find someone you like, give them this flower. It's, give them something nice.
No, she was like, someone you think is pretty.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she hands him that, like...
It's a single pink rose, I think.
Yeah.
And she gets in the car, she drives away, and he's standing there. And then Margot is like, hi, Lars. And he turns around to look at her. And he
his flower.
hooks this fucking thing immediately. And she kind of just like laughs it off a little bit.
But it's even worse. He like chucks it, turns around, and then runs.
Oh, he books it. The autism is so strong with Lars. He does not know how to interact with people.
That was our first thought, actually. Like, as soon as he started interacting with what's her name in the beginning,
Karen.
I was just like, all right, my man's got autism.
Yeah.
Like hard.
I'm pretty sure, listener, you have autism in some way. We all have autism in some way. Lars's autism is just cranked up super high. And I love that. Like Erica said, he just turns around, he just fucking books it down the street. He just runs home.
Runs past his car.
Like, he wants.
Oh, did he run past his
He
car?
went full Forrest Gump on that run.
I didn't even think he took his car there.
He wanted no parts of whatever Margot was offering.
He did not know how to interact in that situation at all.
Or extract himself casually.
Yeah, that was. Don't be suspicious.
It was so bad.
It was great. I loved it.
The perfect setup too. So give this to a nice girl.
Yeah.
All right, I will. Just turns around. I gotta get rid of this thing now.
If I give it to someone, that means I have to interact with her.
Yep. She's not gonna question it. It's okay. And if she does, I can just deflect. Why'd you throw that? I don't know what you're talking about.
And that didn't even happen. Margot didn't even ask why he threw it. She was just like, okay, yep, I get it.
She knows this man.
He's like, hey, take your time. But he runs home, like Erica says, and he runs inside. And as he's going, Karen and Gus are in the kitchen making breakfast. And she's like, Lars, you said you're gonna come in for breakfast. And he looks at her and he just runs inside his little apartment. And she's like, what the fuck?
He's like a deer in headlights sometimes when he gets caught. He's just like, who, me?
And it's most notable with Karen.
Mm-hmm.
And she's asking Gus, and she's like, what? He said he was coming to breakfast. And Gus goes, you owe me $5.
Mm-hmm. Making that good money.
Mm-hmm. But Lars is just sitting inside his little apartment in the dark with all the lights off. like that night, and when he goes to work the next day, the lady at the front desk, Cindy, says good morning to him and everything, you know, real nice, and he doesn't really react, doesn't know how to interact with people, and he goes to his desk, and this guy's name is Kurt, I think, and this guy's an asshole to Margot for no reason.
Oh yeah.
Like every time they interact,
He's just an asshole in general.
yeah,
They both have really strong sibling energy. Like they
Yeah.
feel like they're siblings.
yeah, okay,
To each other.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, but he,
They also look like they could be siblings.
yeah, they both have the same kind of like dirty blonde
Yeah.
hair, but he says to Lars, he goes, "Hey Lars, hey, check this out. Look at this." And Lars says,
I'm not in the mood for porn.
"I'm not in the mood for porn." It's not porn. Well, it is, but
Kind of porn, but not really.
yeah, and it's the Real Doll website.
What is insane is this man is looking at porn on that work computer.
Look, he knows what kind of community this is. He know he ain't gonna get called out.
That's the part that got me though. Is like, my guy, you're at work.
Bye.
This is before smartphones.
Right?
I think the iPhone is like right around the corner, but
Hey, look, people get bored.
People
but
be horny.
Yeah, quick shout out. Don't look at porn on your work computer.
No.
yeah, yeah,
Don't do it.
They
Definitely
will
don't.
always find
Or
it.
just be smart about it.
Go home.
yeah, or use your phone.
Or
Yeah.
use your phone.
Please.
But also, don't use the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
They
don't-
will also find it.
Yeah, get a VPN.
Your IT people have seen everything you have ever pulled up. Just remember that. And they are talking about you and judging. And then also talking with other people about it.
But Lars is like scrolling through. Not Lars. I'm sorry. Kurt is scrolling through this website, and he's like, "Yeah, you can make them thin. You can make them thick. You can like if you say she's 125 pounds, the doll's 125 pounds. You can pick her hair color, her eye color." And Lars is just like sitting there, and he's just like, "The fuck's this guy talking about? Like, what?" And he's trying to again deflect when Margot pops up at work that morning. And she's talking to Lars, and she says because they're the only ones from the lake area, they could carpool together. And Lars has his normal reaction of doesn't know how to make eye contact, doesn't know how to register what she just said with a response.
But Kurt being a good friend, because Kurt is not a bad friend. He's just a weird guy. It's just like, hey, it's your turn to get coffee. And provides an out for Lars.
And he takes it.
He
Yeah.
does, but then he never actually goes to get the coffee because Kurt starts blasting his music, and Lars is like, "Hey, can you put the headphones?" And then Lars does go get the coffee. I forgot about that. But when he walks away, Kurt turns to Margot. He goes, "Hey, take it easy. You're coming on a little strong," and she just kind of like rolls her eyes and walks away.
Which he's not wrong.
Look, she's getting after it.
She knows what she wants.
Mm-hmm. He
But
ain't going
personally,
nowhere.
if I saw a guy run away from me, leave his car at the church, and run away from me, it would have been a wrap. I would have taken the cues.
Apparently, there's not a lot of options.
Wisconsin,
In
small
this
town.
small Wisconsin town, yeah.
In 07?
But to be fair to Margot, she's not like asking him on dates. She's kind of just trying to be social with him. Like, hey, you know, we could carpool together. We live in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
She's not constantly hitting on him
True.
in a way. She's being very
Just trying to get to know him.
yeah
to be
social.
his friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interact with him.
Lars,
Yeah.
Lars knows what's up.
When Lars goes home that night, and again, this is just everything in this movie feels so fucking cold. He's pulling into the driveway, and he's got this little like 1980 something Toyota hatchback. It's such a square car. It looks like it's made out of Lego. And Karen comes running out in front of the fucking car,
Trying to get hit.
and Lars jumps out, and he's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" He goes, "I just wanted to invite you for dinner." And he's like, "Oh God, you scared me. Oh my God." He's like almost hyperventilating. She goes, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Oh, sweetie, I'm sorry."
And then she tries to hug him.
Yep.
And he
Recoils.
turns away.
Yep.
And then she tackles him.
Well, first before the tackle is great.
Yeah,
Before the
that.
tackle, she's like, "Come in for dinner."
Yeah.
You go, I can't. I brought my work home, and she has a flashlight. And
Oh,
she
yeah.
turns,
It's just-
and she looks in his car. And he goes, "No, you didn't."
Like full cop flashlight too. She's
Yeah.
like, what?
But then my favorite part, again, he's just trying to get out of the situation. he looks around and he goes, "Did you hear that? I think I hear my phone ringing." And he starts walking toward his garage. Then she tackles him.
Yep.
And so he's face down in the gravel, and she's on his back. And she's pregnant, by the way. I think I forgot to mention that.
Yeah,
And not
we
like
did
a
forget to
little
mention.
bit of pregnant. She's like,
She's got the full baby belly.
yeah.
Yeah, which gets progressively larger throughout the film. Because this movie does take place over a period of maybe 2 months.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. Like, how long... This...
We know at least a month and a half.
Oh, okay.
Because that 6-week time jump.
Yeah.
I missed that.
But I love... She's like, come on, Lars. We have some nice fish in there. We have some apple pie or cherry pie.
Salmon.
I don't know. Salmon and cherry pie.
salmon and
go
cherry
together,
pie.
in my opinion.
They're not eating off the same plate. It's okay. You're supposed to finish the main stuff, palate cleanse, and then go into the dessert.
You are.
Yeah.
However, people don't do that.
Yeah. But
This is Wisconsin. We palate cleanse around here.
All right.
I'm not 100% sure they're seasoning their food. Because them carrots...
the food at this dinner.
This is a low sodium household. It's okay.
Oh yeah.
It's
Good for
okay.
your
It
blood
might also be a
pressure.
low flavor household.
It's better
Oh
for
my
the
God.
baby. It's better for your blood pressure. It's better. Nothing's wrong with a low sodium diet, guys.
They're living forever with the amount of sodium in this diet. Like,
But
There were some herbs on top of the fish. There was some green. There
Okay.
were. Yeah, there was some.
Okay.
the two meals we see them eating, I want to say the sides for both were like carrots and peas and maybe like a roasted potato. Because we see another meal they eat later on. It's virtually the same.
I feel like I've seen play food with more seasoning than those carrots.
They grow their own vegetables.
Wow.
Me and Etta had a small debate during this, during and or right after the tackle scene, where I was just like, she definitely should not be tackling grown men
She definitely should
as a
not.
pregnant woman. And
Belly first.
Women's bodies are. They're not weak. They're made to carry a baby. Like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be tackling people, but
do not tackle people if you are pregnant.
I'm not saying tackle people with pregnant.
Do
I'm
not
just
jump
saying,
on people if you are pregnant.
Not as fragile as people make you believe you are.
I
We
wasn't
would
worried
per-
about Karen. I was worried about
Oh, he's fine.
scrambling the baby.
As he's
The risk.
He's fine.
Lars really did go face first into that ground.
That is
though.
also. I was just like, that looks a little painful.
That would hurt. You got, anyone out there, if you've ever fallen into gravel, you know that shit hurts.
Or was
And
that snow?
No, it was
No,
gravel.
it
It
was
was the
gravel.
driveway.
Oh,
Now, this place looks very cold, but there's not a lot of snow, really, in the movie.
Not a lot of color in this movie.
There was a little bit of snow because I was worried about those
Double
thin ass
entendre.
tires on his car.
Yeah, there's some, but there's not like mountains of snow like where I
No.
grew up. You got giant piles of snow on the side of the road.
Fair.
When we go inside, because Lars did agree to finally go in, you can see that Karen and Gus have cleared their plates, and Lars is just sitting there, head down, staring at his plate, poking at everything with a fork, but it doesn't look like he's touched anything. Like, he's too scared to just even eat around them. And Karen gets up and goes to the kitchen, and Gus is like, all right, look, Karen's worried about you. She says you're spending all your time alone, but I told you you're fine. You're fine, right? Lars is like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. And it's like, he says something about Dad didn't like having people around either, to which Gus responds with, no, he did like having people around. He just didn't know how to show it. Because their father was never the same after their mom died. And I think in this scene we get the comment about Lars never knew their mom, and he never knew Dad before she died.
I thought Gus was the one that said that Dad didn't like having anybody around, and then I thought Lars was the one that defended him, the dad.
You might be right. I might have it backwards.
I think so.
Yeah.
yeah. Gus did say.
Okay,
Dad,
yeah.
He said Dad was the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
wasn't that a discussion that him and
The doctor had later on.
or was it Karen? Him and Karen had that discussion, right?
No, I only remember him and Karen talking about their dad near the end. But this conversation here, I'm pretty sure, is the one where they mentioned Dad didn't like having people around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I just had it backwards. It was Gus who said,
Gus said that, and then Lars was just like, no, he wasn't like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there is that comment about how Lars never knew him before he was like that,
Right.
which was caused by Lars's mother dying.
At his birth.
Right.
And I guess we'll say it now. That's why he's so uncomfortable around Karen. because she is pregnant, and Lars's mother died giving birth to him.
So he has like a fear of not pregnancy, I guess, but like
Childbirth.
yeah.
Yeah, this man
It's
came
like
into the world.
It's a trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, this man came into the world with PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is one of the main reasons why they mention later his behavior has kind of gotten more, not erratic, but more intense.
Yeah.
He's gotten worse.
Yeah.
Because Karen is
Yeah, with the
moving along
pregnancy.
with her pregnancy.
Like, it
Yeah.
makes me wonder if he came over more often before she got pregnant.
Yeah, because they're like, we miss you.
Okay.
So I feel like he was around a lot more often.
Yeah, but they also, I think, in this scene mentioned that Gus says he can move into the house because half of the house belongs to him, too. They got the house,
Right.
they inherited it from their dad when he died.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their dad died...
4 years before.
Okay.
2003.
Yeah.
Presumably, if this is 2007.
Yeah, that checks out, yeah. So their dad hasn't been dead that long.
But their mom's been dead for 27 years.
Yeah.
Because Lars is 27, although he looks like he's 40.
It's the mustache.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lars tells Gus after he makes the comment about, you could move back into the house. He goes, "No, I'm fine in the garage." And I think he says, "Is Karen coming back?" Because she hasn't come back to the table yet.
And she's like, "I'm cleaning up." And then I think it cuts to him leaving.
Yeah, they're at the back door.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Karen has these 3...
Tupperware containers.
Yeah, for leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
And she's telling him about, again, how they miss him and everything, and she wants him to be okay. And he asks for his blanket. And this is the part where Erica had to explain to me it was a blanket.
It took me forever to figure out.
Because I thought it was just a scarf.
Right.
And when he and Karen are there alone, because Gus goes to get the blanket, she's saying all this really nice stuff to him, and he just looks right past her. He's like, "Is he coming back?" And when Gus comes back with the blanket, Lars just takes it, and he runs back to his garage.
But, like, even before that, she's like, "Are you mad at me?" And then Gus comes back.
She does say that,
Yeah.
yeah. And he doesn't respond to it in any way.
Right.
Master of avoidance, honestly. I really want to get this, you know?
He's very good at it. This is where we get the 6-week time jump. Like, the screen goes black, and we just have that little bit of text 6 weeks later.
How did I miss these time periods? Like,
Well, there's only one time jump.
well,
Yeah,
I
this is
also
only
didn't
one.
know that the dad died 4 years prior.
Well, we learned that when he goes to visit the grave with Bianca.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all
The
did
moms was like, what, 1979?
Or 80. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, the 6 weeks later pops up, and then we see the UPS dropping off a really big crate outside the house. And everyone can guess what's in that box.
Well, let's circle back real fast. It's nice to know that UPS hasn't changed their logo in like 20 years.
That brown truck is the exact same.
No need.
Yeah, with the gold lettering and the Zach font. I was like, wow, consistency. I like that for y'all.
I wonder if the Real Dolls changed their website in 20 years.
God, I hope so.
Only one way to find out. Not it.
Nose goes. But Karen calls Lars at work, and she just tells him, "Hey, a package was dropped off. It's in the garage for you." And he's a little excited about it. He gets a little smile, a little smirk on his face. He comes home, and the box is just laid out in his little apartment, and he's staring at it. And then he starts to, like, clean himself up a little bit.
Like he changes his clothes, he brushes his teeth.
While he's brushing his teeth, he walks out into the room, and he's just staring at the crate.
This man's over here.
Oh, God.
What?
He starts preparing.
I'm getting thrown
Lars
under
is
the
getting
bus.
ready, and Derry's like, "Oh, he's preparing. He's getting ready.
He wants to look good.
He's about to tear it up." And I was like, "Will you stop?"
Oh, periodically throughout the movie, I was like, "You think that thing's full of cum?"
Oh, God. No, I was definitely just like, oh, he about to do the
No.
most foul shit to this thing.
He
Not
bought,
this good Christian man.
he
Yeah.
bought the industrial-sized thing of lube when he bought Bianca.
It's like my man is getting, like, prepared, like he's going on a date. I was like, oh, man, the violation is about to take place here.
In actuality, it really didn't. When they ordered the doll, it didn't have parts for the actual doll itself.
Oh.
What do you mean didn't have parts?
during the production of the movie.
Oh,
Yeah, so like
when they say the doll is anatomically correct,
Yeah.
the one they used for the movie wasn't.
Yeah, behind
Correct.
the scenes.
It's like a Barbie doll.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
so,
it's a Barbie doll.
Oh, okay.
So there were no
incidents on set.
incidents.
I
of
would
people-
hope not. You
Right.
walk in, some PA has Bianca bent over.
Yeah. Like
Get away from there, Greg.
We're going past pulling up porn on your work computer now.
Oh yeah,
On set, they were just doing the foulest things.
you're literally fucking a prop at work.
Yeah. So
Oh, God.
somebody made the brilliant decision to have this thing not
That's very-
actually
it's
have
smart.
parts.
But
Yeah.
it still has a mouth though, so
Yeah, Craig Gillespie was like, you know what? Before we start this production, make it very clear you can't fuck this doll.
Yeah.
This is an actress, and we will treat her as such.
And he's looking at the crowd of people, and he goes, you know who I'm talking about.
she was treated like an actress too.
Nice.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Well, Bianca, I love Bianca as a character in herself because she was self-sufficient
Yeah.
and out there in the streets doing community service. I'm like, go ahead, girl.
So,
If
yeah.
she had had a driver's license and didn't need a wheelchair, would have been good to go.
Oh, yeah.
Great to go.
Using that wheelchair in the snow must have been a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if she was collecting a check.
No,
Like-
you couldn't.
You mean like
Well,
on
most of it
set?
was community service.
That's true. That's true.
So.
Most of like the actors.
Oh no, wait, she did have a job at
She
the
did.
clothing store.
Yeah.
Yes! Were they paying her?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood when you said if she was getting a check. I thought you meant the actual doll during the production.
No.
But you mean Bianca in the
Yeah.
movie.
The character Bianca.
Even then, no. I gotta say, this delusion can only go so far.
Do you know how wild that would have been? They were giving this man Lars a check for his doll working at the store. My man, actually, they thought he was crazy, but he was actually a genius.
Bianca makes all the money.
It just
Bianca's the breadwinner.
as soon as somebody pointed that out, they'd have been like, "You realize that you're paying that man? You are paying that man money for his doll working." I think that he might not be as crazy as you think.
Imagine if they got audited.
Oh,
Hey,
God.
you're giving checks to this employee. Who is Bianca? I don't think they ever said
What
her last
was
name.
her last name?
They never said. They
She
always
didn't
just called her
have a-
Bianca.
Yeah.
But you imagine if they're how do you explain that? Like, oh no, our friend is mentally ill. We're trying to help him through it. We've been employing his sex doll.
His real doll.
Don't worry, she's a good Christian girl. They're not fucking.
She is from the missionary.
She Brazilian Dutch,
Yes.
as we learned.
Everybody would
Dutch
have
or
been
Danish?
Dutch, I think.
Was
I think it was
Okay.
Dutch.
Okay.
Yeah,
everybody would have been getting evaluated after that.
yeah.
If I was the person running that store, like I was the boss, they would told me that, I'd have been like, "All right, you're all getting evaluated now."
Helping the friend, no problem. But now we have the IRS on our back. You're in trouble.
Yeah,
We owe the Real Dog Corporation some money.
yeah.
But I love he's getting ready. He brushes his hair, and like Erica said, he had that really nice sweater on.
He changed his clothes twice.
Oh yeah, he did too.
He did
Yeah.
change the sweater because the one that he had in the mirror
Yeah.
was different from.
When he's just like, "This is a
Yeah.
nice sweater," he changed it.
Yeah.
Next scene, changed it.
Yep. And he goes up to the back door again because he never uses the front door. And when he goes up to the door, he's smiling.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time we've ever seen him happy.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks Gus if Karen can come to the door. And when she does, he tells them that he has a visitor. And he goes, she is not from here, I think he says.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, she? And then Karen's
so excited.
Oh, thank God he's not gay. Thank God he's not gay. You know, Mrs. Gerner's grandson.
No, I didn't
I
think
know.
yeah, but
But,
it's just so excited. Like,
oh yeah,
my
they're so
God.
supportive of him.
Yes.
And he tells them that she's not from here. She's actually Brazilian Dutch. She doesn't speak a lot of English. They ask how they met. He goes, well, we actually met online.
He's like, oh, everyone's doing that these days.
Right.
In 2007. It was a new thing.
What was out there in 2007?
MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was OkCupid out there? No. Oh, what's that one for old people?
Wow.
Oh
I don't think old people were meeting online in 2007.
gosh. Yeah, it was for
I know what you're talking about.
eHarmony?
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Was that it?
I think
Yeah.
I remember
so.
those commercials when we were kids.
Yeah.
I just remember how old I was.
Is that why you said the one for old people?
Well, yeah, because they're old now.
There's Christian
they're-
Mingle. There's that one for farmers only.
Oh my gosh.
FarmersOnly.com.
That's it. Sexdollsonly.com.
Clearly.
Real dolls.
Yeah,
Real
babe.
dolls.
Sorry.
Real dolls.
Real dolls.
Man,
It is Lars and the real girl.
Exactly.
They can't call it Lars and the sex doll.
They cannot because there was no sex.
Lars and the anatomically correct sex doll.
Absolutely none of that.
But Lars also says that I hope it's not weird. She's in a wheelchair. She's a religious girl, and he thinks it would be inappropriate if they stayed alone in the garage tonight. And then Gus and Karen are like, no, that's fine. She can stay in the pink room. And if you give us a few minutes to get something ready, we can give us like 30 minutes, and then you can bring her in and we can meet her.
And there's new towels.
Yes.
That is something to be really excited about.
It is.
Yeah.
Towels are expensive.
Yeah.
Everything's expensive.
We've become
What?
old.
I had a photo shoot with my new dishwasher because I was really excited about that.
We're not getting more towels this year.
Because of the economy?
Why?
The smile on Etta's face
We
just
have
disappeared.
so many.
I'll throw them out.
Okay. The pizza towel can
You're
go.
a fucking menace. But
If I get rid of the problem, there's no problem.
Fact. Fact. Can't argue that logic.
I can't fit more water in this cup. I'll just dump that water out and put more water in the cup.
Yeah.
100% right.
Can't argue that. That maths. But this is one of the funniest jump cuts in this movie because
Is this where I busted out laughing?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it is.
because we're at the back door and
Karen's like, 30 minutes. Give us 30 minutes to clean.
she and Gus run inside and Lars is happy and everything, and Gus has a thing of where he's like, that's great, man. That's great. Hard cut to Karen and Gus sitting mouth agape, and we don't see what they're looking at yet. It holds on them for a good few seconds, and then it cuts to the couch they're looking at with Lars sitting there smiling with his hands crossed on his lap, and Bianca next to him. The sex doll, the real girl, and she's dressed in like a fishnet top.
Sparkle and sparkly top on top of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's got bright lipstick on.
Yep.
She has a mini skirt on,
Yep.
and boots.
Yes.
Yes.
And
And tights, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dressing for the Wisconsin weather.
Right.
Yep.
yeah,
This was not the.
a fishnet shirt.
Yeah.
And I was like, did these clothes come with this? If they had to.
Had to.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Where else would he have gotten them?
What?
Man secured a wheelchair and
He didn't have that yet.
This is so.
The outfit was not a meet the family outfit.
It's weird because, like, we
I mean,
know.
it wasn't a bad outfit.
This is
No.
not a meet the family outfit.
I don't think the outfit is the problem.
I don't think the outfit fits the backstory, right? Because each doll has their own backstory.
What
So-
was her backstory, though?
It
Look.
wasn't she? She was an orphan, raised in an orphanage by missionaries in Brazil.
Oh, I am so sorry. Earlier I said Dutch. Etta was completely right. She is Danish. I had it in my notes. I'm sorry. Danish.
Why are you flipping me off?
Because
I didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you were wrong. Flip off Jeremy.
But yeah, she was
My
like
bad.
No, it's fine.
raised by the church, and she decided to take a sabbatical from
oh,
the
I
church.
thought he came up with the story.
I definitely thought he came up with that
Okay,
story.
so
He might have, but then I thought
I mean, he
got it
definitely
from
added to it.
the website.
the website does have, we see later,
Right.
a lot of the dolls have their own backstory, but we never got the one for Bianca. So this might be the one on the website.
That doesn't sound very selling, though. She was an orphan.
Look,
Raised by nuns. Well, maybe.
Well, that
raised
might-
by
Some-
nuns.
That might
Catholic schoolgirl.
be, that might be the stuff he came up with,
Okay.
because it also kind of fits him a little bit.
Yeah.
As an orphan.
yeah,
I mean,
he definitely.
He only had one parent. He lost one parent. But,
But technically, at that point, he didn't have both.
So
Yeah.
he's an orphan now.
we never really describe adults as orphans. When do you become an orphan as an adult? Or what is the cutoff age to be called an orphan?
I think
Is
you're
it just a
always-
child?
I think you're always an orphan. You just can't go to the orphanage.
Once you're an adult, it's done.
Right, you're not an orphan anymore.
You're not an orphan anymore.
Yeah, you can't play that card.
That's fair.
Oh man, I'm 34 years old and I just lost my second parent. I'm an orphan now. What am I gonna do?
I think you would be an orphan.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You just
Are
can't
you
collect from
looking
the
up
state.
age limit on orphan? No, he's not.
No, I'm not looking up age. I was John answered.
Oh.
But I mean, hey, look up the age limit on orphans. Go ahead, Google it.
Yeah, Google that.
So it varies by country and definition. It says, however, the term can also be used to describe adults who have lost their parents.
Hold on. You might be interested in this one.
Oh, yes, please.
It can also refer to a child who has lost only one parent, as the Hebrew translation, for example, is fatherless.
Oh.
You're an orphan.
I have a Hebrew name.
So you are now orphan.
I'm an orphan.
Well, they really just don't.
I love
give
you, Mom.
a fuck about the moms.
The discoveries.
My mom listens to this show. So,
Your mom's an orphan too.
Teamwork.
oh my God, my mom is also an orphan. Her dad's dead too.
Are we all just orphans?
No.
No, these two aren't.
Both my parents are still alive.
Yep.
I mean, mine are too.
You sound so disappointed.
Do you want to be an orphan?
Do you need to call somebody?
No.
So, Lars has the whole backstory, which, again, we're not sure if he came up with or if it was from the website.
It's not confirmed.
Right. But I think some of it is him.
Definitely.
She is going through it when she came into this country. Her luggage got stolen.
Mm-hmm.
In her wheelchair.
And her wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Which is insane because she is wheelchair bound. So how do you steal a wheelchair from a person?
You are talented.
Well,
It didn't say that the wheelchair got stolen and she didn't know it didn't get stolen. She probably got thrown
Maybe when
out
she was
of
on
it.
the plane.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It got stolen from like the luggage
The
pickup.
luggage plate, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be some type of foul person, man, to steal a wheelchair.
And then they took her off the plane and put her in a crate.
And shit.
Look, in this country, if you can't use if you don't have a wheelchair, we put you in a box.
Right.
Just what address were you going to? We'll put it on the box.
We'll poke some holes in it. You'll be fine.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
And it's cheaper.
Probably.
There you go.
Yeah?
But he asks, he looks at Karen. He's like, "Hey, Karen, she went through all this. Can she borrow some clothes from you?"
Well, this is when they sit down at the table for dinner. But before that, Karen and Gus get up to go to the kitchen to get dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this is where Gus has the moment of, my brother's crazy.
As I say, he's freaking out.
Gus is freaking out.
Rightfully so, though.
I mean, to be fair, Gus has to process this in the moment before he can handle it later.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I mean, I kind of get it. At first, I thought Gus was going to be a complete asshole throughout the entire movie.
Me too.
But he wasn't. He was there for Lars. It just took him a little longer to get there.
Good character development.
Yeah. Karen was there immediately.
Right.
She's like, look, I don't know what the fuck this is, but if it's going to help him, we're going to play along with it for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Karen gets these salad bowls, and she makes 4 of them, and she hands 2 to Gus.
And she's like throwing salad into
Yeah.
these bowls.
But Gus is watching Lars pick Bianca up and set her at the dining room table. And when he goes out there with the bowls, he stops and he looks at his hands. He goes, "Karen, she's not gonna eat. She's not gonna eat."
Gus is losing it. Just props to Gus for keeping it together initially.
Yes.
He kept it together all the way up to this point, because I'm not 100% sure that I could have if I was in his shoes. I don't know if I could have kept it together. I'd have been like, you messing with me right now.
I'm gonna tell you, my brother would not be supportive in any way, shape, or form of this. Like, if I was going through some shit, my brother wouldn't give a fuck.
I told her the exact same thing last night when we hit that point. I was like, my whole family would not have tolerated this. They would have told me to get up and leave. They'd have been like, you and your dog and whatever you're doing with it, you take all that and you leave.
You need to find Jesus.
Yeah, go home right now. But bring yourself back Sunday for church. Because
Without the dog.
Yeah,
Without the dog.
because you need some.
But even like what Gus is going through, if it was me in Gus's shoes, it would take me a minute to figure out how to respond. I wouldn't. I know I would not be a Karen.
I would have been laughing the entire.
That's me.
Like
That I.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been playing along.
Are you crying?
I keep thinking about the situation.
Yeah.
And I just know I'd be like dying.
I probably would have been like, all right, man, we're going to do this time, but we're not going to be running with this every time you pop up over here.
Remember what happened last time with this? We're not doing it again.
Yeah,
I told you one time. But
Oh, yeah, man.
Like, I feel like for me, it
Oh,
would have been
God.
like a yes and situation. So it'd be like.
Oh my
Erica
god.
has so many tears in her eyes right now.
I genuinely just feel like it'd be like, all right, yeah, and then I would just keep feeding into this backstory, like.
You would, and
Erica
that's
would
what I
ask-
was thinking the entire time. I was
How'd
like,
she get paralyzed?
Erica would have been like, okay, and so, like, tell me more.
Yeah, like we would just keep on going.
What's Brazil like?
Yeah, literally.
But luckily, Gus and Karen aren't any of us.
Yeah.
And they're at the table. Again, we see that change in Lars. He's happy. He's actually eating.
And eating her food,
And
too.
eating, yeah.
That's where I draw the line. Look, you don't take food off someone else's plate.
She wasn't eating it.
That's not the point.
She might have wanted to.
That was her food. You
He
can't
was
just be
being
eating other people's
disrespectful.
food. But to be fair, she do be eating some of my food sometimes.
All the time.
And I'm pretty sure she eats some of your food sometimes. So
What's mine is yours.
To be fair, though, I'm a big boy. I could afford to lose some of it.
it's a couple thing.
But this is where they have the conversation about borrowing Karen's clothes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like this is the only time Karen is just like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything else, she's like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. And, like, but this one, she's just like, I don't think we're the same type or something like that. Is
Yeah.
that what she says?
Yeah. And I assume she's referring to her body type.
Right.
Because at the moment, a lot of Karen's clothes are maternity outfits, stretchy pants.
Right. Exactly.
Slip-on shoes.
Also, Bianca got some assets.
True.
And we see them like when she's in scenes where she's laying down
Do we?
in the pink room. Yeah.
No,
I remember
not
her
like, not like out.
in the tub.
Yeah, they're never out. But
That
like
was hilarious.
that was funny. But there's a couple shots where they're in the pink room and Bianca's laid out on the bed on her back, and you can definitely see those assets
Oh,
you're
that's
talking
fair.
about.
And then the one nightgown that had something sheer.
Now that I don't remember.
The pink nightgown?
Drawing a blank on that one.
Because I was like, okay, Karen.
Karen, look, she got a husband. Karen,
She made a baby.
She got knocked up somehow.
was very hesitant to give her these clothes.
She really was.
And I know she does say, "Oh, we're not the same size," and it kind of gives you the impression she was thinking about, "I don't think my clothes are gonna fit this doll." But I figured, her immediate thought was, "This man just asked me for some of my clothes to put on his real doll."
I also interpreted this moment as they're still processing what the fuck is happening. Because she's very almost taken aback by that, and she has the comment. And then Lars comes back with, oh, Bianca doesn't care about any of that superficial
she's not
stuff.
yeah.
He just, she just needs something to wear. And Karen is like, yeah, okay, yeah, she can borrow some of my clothes. Sure.
Are the underwear included?
I also felt like Karen was like, I don't know what you done did to this doll.
God, I hope not.
Like,
That was my first question.
Literally, he's
As
like,
soon as he
"Are they
said Bianca needs clothes, I'm just like, hold up.
Well, we're going to learn in a few minutes she's not wearing any underwear.
It's like, I hope you don't mean underwear too.
God, I hope not. Ugh. But they bring her upstairs and they put her to bed in the pink room. They have her sitting upright on the bed.
With her hands folded over.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Were
yeah.
they? Yes.
Yeah, they probably were. But
With the towel sitting next to her.
yep, and Lars is telling her like, this used to be my mom's room. Here's those brand new towels Karen was talking about. I guess I'll see you in the morning. And Bianca always has the same expression on her face. Like, no matter what they do to her throughout this movie, moving her around, giving her new makeup and everything, she always has like her eyes. One looks like it's half closed, and her mouth is always just like open.
slightly agape.
Partially open, yeah.
Yeah. And when they are leaving the room, the doll just falls over onto the pillows. And I thought it would be funny when Karen goes back in later, she was sitting back upright.
No, it wouldn't have been.
There's-
I would have been out.
There's a little horror movie element introduced in this comedy.
We
Don't-
kept finding
That would
different
have
ways
been
to turn
yeeted.
this
I
so
would have been like,
different.
Bianca left. Sorry.
Oh man, she just left in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I'd immediately be like, she got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go too. Don't
Wouldn't even
come
say a
back.
word, just throw her out the window.
Yep.
But I think this is where Karen has the idea of
Setting up an appointment with Dr. Brunson.
Dr.
Dagmar.
Yeah, it was a weird name.
But the way she presents it is she presents it as it was Gus's idea. She says, Gus was thinking that with all of Bianca's travel and everything, we should take her to the doctor and make sure she's doing all right. And Gus is like, did I? Me?
Shut up.
Yeah.
It's a good ploy, though.
Good.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a. It was
Yeah.
a very smart ploy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And
Karen's brilliant.
Gus is desperately trying to get Lars out of the house. Lars keeps trying to come back, and Lars keeps putting his hand up on the wall to block Lars. He's like, no, you just... Come on, man. I want to get done with this craziness. I want to be able to talk about you. Get out of my house.
Oh, the debrief that would have happened. I would have multiple people on the phone.
Well, Karen says it might be the day after next, she has to make some calls. Mm-hmm. And, we meet Dr. Dagmar, played by Patricia Clarkson, who we looked up yesterday. This is a role that, blink and you miss her, but she was Alan Parrish's mom in Jumanji. When Robin Williams' character is still a little boy, and his parents are getting ready to go to dinner.
She looked familiar.
I was struggling.
Yeah.
I was like, I have seen this lady somewhere.
Oh my gosh, she's Tammy one.
Oh, from Parks and Rec?
Yes.
She was Emma Stone's mother in Easy A.
Plot twist, though.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, yes.
She and Stanley Tucci are absolutely delightful in that movie.
She was the doctor and Lars and the real girl.
You don't say.
I do.
Wow.
And a psychiatrist.
Oh,
Yep.
Psychologist,
yeah.
if only she had willing to get that psychiatry degree, then she could give him some medicine for the delusion.
She may have had it.
True. I mean,
because apparently it was
up that far north. You gotta get as many
degrees as
she says you need to have a psychology degree or something to live that far north. Mm-hmm. Karen makes that comment to Gus when they're laying in bed that night.
Yep.
Because she says take him to Dagmar, and Gus is like, she's a pediatrician.
Yes.
Or she's not a pediatrician.
A family practitioner.
Family practitioner, and Karen also says she's also a psychologist.
Right.
You got to be to live that far north. She's a wonderful character.
Yes.
She's so calm about the situation.
Yes, every interaction and everything she says is always just so calm and clinical, almost. Mm-hmm. Like, she analyzes everything. Like, and she never acts like this is crazy. Insane.
Very straightforward.
Yeah.
She's probably like, I've seen worse.
Yeah. But she's always like, well, this will fix itself, but we have to find out what we need to do to fix it. Mm-hmm. Again, great character. But they, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one of the funniest parts was when Lars leaves that night after they put Bianca in bed, Karen goes back in the room after Bianca's fallen over, and she's like looking at her face, and then she like looks down under Bianca's skirt, and she's like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. Because they mentioned earlier that they're anatomically correct. Mm-hmm. And
so she doesn't have underwear.
That's why I was saying she doesn't have underwear on. Because Karen looked right at her vulva.
Yeah.
She had a chick.
Yeah.
But I'm confused at why she's like, oh my God, it's a sex doll.
Look, she didn't know.
She
Maybe
had
she
to
just
confirm.
didn't think it was going to be that accurate.
She had to confirm. This is
Has she
2000.
only ever seen her own vagina?
This is 2007 times.
True.
But
if you saw a sex doll, would you not be like, let me just...
Yeah,
I'm curious.
But then I would have been like, huh.
Well, that's what she did.
She was more like, oh my God.
Also,
how dare she?
She knows Lars, that good, clean church boy. And, yeah, she's just like, ain't no way that this man just walked in here with what I think he walked in here with.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, most of the good, clean church people are the dirtiest ones.
We don't know these things.
Let's circle back real fast. Right?
We're circling back.
So, when they first bring up the real doll, Kurt on the screen, and Lars like, are you going to get one? And Kurt's like, no. I spent all my money on that Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
How much was this doll?
Do we want to know in actuality? Because I do know.
Research.
Yes. If you looked it up, that saves me from having to look it up.
Well, I don't know how much it was on the movie.
Okay.
But I know, so they actually let the doll be on the Graham Norton Effect show.
Yeah, Graham Norton, the British talk show host.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Well, they listed the doll as costing $6,000.
Oh my God, Lars.
Kurt lied.
Well,
because he's not tapped out. Because if that doll was $6,000, the Xbox 360, because he mentions a new Xbox.
Right.
This is 2007. Mm-hmm. This console came out in 2005. At launch, $400.
So, like I said, I don't know how much it actually costed movie wise,
Mm-hmm.
but in actuality, a doll was $6,000.
Damn, it didn't even come with like a whole vagina.
It was probably cheaper movie wise.
Probably, yeah.
They were probably trying to pitch it as something you could
But
just.
what was
So maybe like 1,000.
could be
Who
what was that website again? So I
Real-
can look it up later for posterity.
Realdolls.
Realdolls.com.
Because Gus goes to it later on.
Also, in 2007, the Xbox 360 Elite was released,
Ooh,
but that only cost $479.
okay.
So yeah, I don't see why those two prices would have been like competing. Like if you had enough money to buy that doll, you could have also bought an Xbox.
You know,
Right?
I think Kurt was just lying. No, I'm not gonna buy that. I spent all my money on the Xbox.
You know what? Kurt definitely lied.
Kurt lied.
Kurt also had a real doll.
Yep.
He-
Kurt was ashamed though.
and the other guy that we'll get to that part. Moving on.
We got the party.
Yeah, the other guy. The
Oh
party.
yeah,
Oh,
Mr. No Name.
Because he needed answers.
Oh, yeah, he was asking.
Yeah, he was asking questions.
Yeah.
He needed answers.
Yeah, he was trying to get one.
Kurt sent him the link to the website.
Yeah, it's like, should I really drop this money?
I don't need that new Xbox.
Pull up incognito mode right quick.
Oh, Gus before they went to bed that night, he went out and he grabbed the shipping label off the crate Bianca came in. That's how he went to the website. And we have the different backstories for the different dolls. Like one's a rodeo rider.
And she's willing to ride you.
Are you willing to be that cowboy?
This website was funny.
Do you have the actual real doll website pulled up?
No, I was talking about the website in the movie.
Okay.
Does Sony need to try to pull up this website?
I'm already on it now.
I thought you said no.
I wasn't yet, but I am now.
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Like, oh, those
But no,
backstories are hilarious.
what y'all were just talking about, the website in the movie.
Yeah.
That shit was funny as hell. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
this is definitely some classic.
It looks so. It
It was a website of its time.
yes, that's what I was trying to say.
I am not accepting cookies. Are you crazy?
What are you
Oh,
nuts?
no, don't accept those
I'm not
cookies.
accepting no fucking
Are you
cookies.
gonna have to put in your ID to look at these dolls?
Oh yeah, we do have that law in South Carolina now.
I use a VPN that says I'm on the West Coast. Not for the dolls, I swear.
Oh,
Oh no.
How much are they?
Share with the class.
Well, I mean,
what you mean? Well, you mean? Do you
Also-
see that?
it's
You see that price?
Let me see.
7,200. Also, they look.
They look real.
No.
Bianca looks
Go
better,
get
though,
an
huh?
actual person.
What's the lowest price they have?
I just saw those. Please go on a date with an actual person. They won't charge you $7,000.
Well, that's
That's a
today's,
lie, I would.
That's today's money.
Right.
Wait. Now we can figure it out. Hold up.
Apparently, these are robots.
Oh, well, then that makes more. Well, what can they do?
What is it, like squeezing the
Gonna rip your dick
Are
off.
they talking?
Lord have mercy.
Give us the details.
All right, so roughly $7,200 in today's real money would be about 4.6 thousand in 2007.
What the?
Jeremy, you still browsing?
Yeah, I was trying to go to the doll option, not the robot option.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it's oh my god.
Is it still 7,200?
You're on a list.
Oh nah, it's
Why is the doll more?
I don't know.
Also, permanent.
Permanent what?
What is the style? Permanent and shaved.
Oh, you know what that's the style for. It says shaved.
Wait, can we talk some more about the options for the girls? Because there was the rodeo girl, and then there was the girl who was kidnapped by the Russian mob and had to strip her life.
That
Whoever
makes me think-
came up with these stories,
They had fun.
shout out to them because they were actually entertaining.
Oh yeah, good chuckles.
What was the other one? Wasn't there another one?
there was
Yeah,
another one.
there was one
more.
more.
There was one more, but I don't remember what it was. But why do they have traumatic backstories like American Girl dolls?
Or
All of them have awful backstories
They
too.
really do. Yep.
I feel like some of these backstories they could go unchopped.
It makes it better.
they are that traumatic.
The chopped real doll.
They really
edition,
need these $10,000.
Yes.
so that they can be bought by
Graham
somebody.
would be proud.
Yes.
Graham.
I love that show so much.
You do.
I love it so much. And he's like shaking his head.
But he's also like it comes on so loud.
Oh yeah, the volume on the computer.
Oh yeah, the old speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny because when he turns it off, he like sits back and crosses his arms. He's like, "Oh God, what the fuck did I just see?"
And then he turns the monitor off too. Like he doesn't even turn the computer. He's just like turn the monitor off, and he's just like, "Oh my God."
Problem solved. I can't see it anymore.
Nope.
Oh, that'd be hilarious though. Karen goes down in the morning to check her email.
Look, she knows that he was only looking at it to find out more things about what Lars is going through.
Maybe-
Gus is going to be upstairs brushing his teeth.
Maybe
He's just
Bianca
gonna hear,
needs a sister.
Gus! Good thing they don't have kids already.
Yeah.
Because the kid's going to turn the computer on
my
and see some
God.
shit.
I was really hoping, and I'm glad it didn't go this direction. I was really hoping that this man's Gus didn't end up with his own doll by the end of the movie. Because I was going to get secondhand embarrassment, something serious. It was already bad.
They all have their own doll.
After the funeral at the end, they go back home and there's another box. We just can't get rid of them.
The sequel, Gus and the real girl.
Oh my
Gus,
God.
the divorce, and the real girl.
Yeah.
But that's when they have the conversation in bed, and Gus says, what are people going to think? And Karen's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, we won't worry about that.
We just need to worry about getting Lars some help. We're taking him to Dagmar. They're riding to the doctor's office the next day, and we learn that Karen's job is she works in the school department. Don't know in what capacity, what that means, but works in schools.
Which is good. She seems like the type of person I would want around children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's very caring and attentive.
Yeah.
That's why her name's Karen.
And not spelled like a modern day
Ian,
Karen.
it's Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a comment to Gus that made me think Gus was unemployed, but we see him with a job later. But she goes, "Oh, and Gus, when he and then he looks at her and she just stops talking. But Gus works at like a repair shop."
Yeah.
That was weird to me. At first, I thought
Was it a
he lost
repair
his
shop,
job,
or was it like a
garage or something.
like a warehouse?
I thought it was some kind of warehouse or something like that.
Yeah.
Could be all of it, because they all have that same like blue striped shirt that I see a lot of mechanics wear.
So maybe she wasn't trying to write him off as not having a job. I think he just didn't want to be a part of a makeshift conversation just yet.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, because Gus
Yeah.
isn't there yet.
Right.
Gus isn't there yet. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I would still be fully immersed in this delusion.
Yes, you would.
Eric would be giggling her ass off
Yep.
in the front seat.
Absolutely crying.
Yeah, so that's how I took it. Not like, well, no, I did think about it first. I was like, does Gus not have a job?
Yeah.
And he did. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, but no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He still doesn't want to play into this,
Does
so he's like, "Hey,
not.
Karen, don't."
Just-
Yeah, okay. But when they get to the doctor's office, they're sitting in the waiting room, and Gus and Karen are sitting there and look very uncomfortable. And Lars is sitting next to Bianca,
Who finally got a wheelchair?
she got a wheelchair, and all these people in the doctor's office are staring at them. And Lars is like, "What? Huh? Oh yeah. We got some magazines right
Reader's
here."
Digest. I don't remember the other ones.
I don't
but
remember
yeah,
either.
it was
Country Homes?
Country Homes.
And
Yeah.
he's like, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I would have picked that one too." And
And then puts it in her hands, right?
Yeah, because her hands are just like on the arms,
Yeah.
oh, I missed
ready
that.
to read. Yeah.
I thought he was reading it to her.
Fully opposable.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Again, I need that website. But we go in and we finally meet Dr. Dagmar, and she's taking Bianca's blood pressure, and she says a number, and she's turned away from Lars and Bianca, and she's writing something, and Lars says to Bianca, "Oh, don't worry, mine's probably low too." To which Dr. Dagmar is like, "Interesting. He's talking to the doll as if the doll is talking to him."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Goes back to her little what's the patient folder? Is that what we'll call it?
Sure.
The patient folder, and Lars says something else to her. And again, Dr. Dagmar turns and she's like, "Very interesting. Talking to a doll." Okay. Well, she says, "We're going to need Bianca to come in every week for special treatments. And you can hang out with me in my office."
While she rests.
Well, yeah.
I like how chill he is with people manipulating the delusion. Like,
Also, who's paying for these doctor visits?
That's what I was saying.
with
Who's
this-
paying for this?
Right.
Lars is definitely paying for this.
Maybe good health insurance.
Maybe.
This is America. What are you talking about?
You're
Lars
right.
is definitely paying for this.
The man, I feel like he has good money. I feel like the house is probably paid off for. I feel like he has the worst car in the world, so he's fine. That, exception. He's not paying rent to live in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true. They yeah.
They
he
own that
doesn't
house.
eat food.
Yeah, so he's probably fine. He's had the same scarf blanket forever, so.
Mm-hmm.
He bought a $4,200 doll. Like,
Yeah, he's
Man's got money.
Yeah.
But it might just be another one of those things of everyone in this movie is a nice person, and Dr. Dagmar is like, this is pro bono. I'm just going to help this guy out.
Or maybe his health insurance really does cover therapy.
Yeah, she might be just straight up billing his health insurance.
That'd be fucked up. At the very end of the movie, oh yeah, Lars, here's your bill for several weeks worth of treatments for you and Bianca, by the way.
Family plan.
There you go. But then we have a meeting between Dagmar, Gus, and Karen. And in this meeting, this is where Dr. Dagmar tells him, like, look, I don't think your brother has an illness, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But he's suffering from a delusion. And
Gus has that great line of, what's he doing with the delusion?
oh yeah, and she asks if there's been any changes in the house recently or with Lars, and he goes, well,
and Gus says no, and Karen says yes.
oh, I thought this is the part where he says, well, Karen's pregnant and my brother's crazy.
Yeah, but like, oh, is it? Maybe.
No, I thought at first he was like, no, nothing really.
Okay, I might be remembering it wrong.
And then Karen was like nodding, and then she finally looks at him, and he's just like, Karen's pregnant, and my brother's crazy.
Has he been going to work, cleaning himself? They're like, yeah, so far. And she says that we don't know what the treatment is for this, but what we do need to do is we need to go along with it. It's probably going to be the best thing for Lars because he's the one that this is all in his head. And this is how he's coping with something, and we don't know what it is. And Gus immediately is like, nope, I'm not doing that. Pretend it's real? No, I'm not doing that. It's a doll. No. Big hunk of plastic. And Dagmar is telling him, like, look, this is the only way we're going to be able to help him get through this. He goes, people are going to laugh at him. And she goes, and you too. They're going to laugh at you too.
Mm-hmm.
When they go up, this is really funny, when they go back out into the waiting room, there's a little kid sitting on Bianca's lap, and Lars is like, she's great with kids.
Oh, she loves
She
kids.
loves kids.
And I'm like, yeah, Bianca does love kids.
Mm-hmm.
Bianca's such a good person.
But they also asked in the meeting with Dagmar about, well, how long will this go on for? And she says, until Lars doesn't need it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Lars would have kept the delusion going if, like, Bianca would have struggled with fertility issues, and we would have had to go through this really sad
She
struggle.
did, though.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she can't have kids. Why? Because of the orphanage.
But
Yeah, all orphans are sterile.
Stop! But it is mentioned later on
That
when
she
one
can't
is him
have
meeting with Dagmar. Cause
Yeah.
Do you think they would have had, like, a weird, sad adoption struggle where they would have wanted to try to adopt from the same orphanage that Bianca... See, this is...
Yeah, this is why we defend the delusion. They would have had a Chucky doll.
Oh, gosh.
Come here,
No.
Andy.
Yeah, y'all would have had to stop me, because I'd been like, so, adoption maybe?
We would have to keep you away from Lars,
She'd have been making it worse.
making it so
Probably.
much worse.
Just would have been digging a hole.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, when she's deep enough, we'll just bury her in it. But the next morning, we're at breakfast, and Bianca and Lars are at the table. Gus is at the table. Karen's over by the sink, and Gus is, like, sitting there holding his face, and he doesn't feel well. To which Lars responds with, well, Bianca could help. She has nurses training. And this is the most asshole-ish Gus got in the movie. Surprisingly, I thought it was going to get worse, but he just says, no, she doesn't. Because it's not a she, it's a big plastic thing. And Karen's looking like, oh God, how's he going to respond to that? And Lars...
It was so sweet.
Lars is looking at Bianca and he goes, wow, did you hear that? She said that's why God put her here, to help people. Huh. Again, he's the master of deflection.
Right.
And Gus also says he's not going to work because he doesn't feel well. And Bianca, or not Bianca, if Bianca said it, I'd freak out. But Karen is like, Lars, aren't you running late? You're going to be late for work. And so he gets up and he leaves. And Gus is like, this is my fault. This isn't my fault. I had to try.
Which is fair. He had to be like, someone needs to be like, hey, this isn't real. And when it didn't work, he was like, all right, I guess we'll play along.
Because nobody had tried that yet.
Yep.
That had not been done yet.
Yep.
Because even at dinner, they were just too flabbergasted to even think.
Completely.
But Karen grabs Bianca's wheelchair, and she's like, come on, Bianca, let's go make some calls. And she wheels her out of the room. When Lars gets to work, Cindy, the lady at the front desk, whose real name is Karen, by the way, Karen Robinson, she gives him an invitation to a party she's having. I apologize, you can probably hear our dogs barking from across the house.
Sound like gremlins.
They are gremlins. How'd you know?
We call them gremlins often.
Yeah, don't get them wet. They multiply. But when Karen hands him the invitation to the party, he doesn't...
Cindy.
Oh, I said Karen, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Her real name is Karen? Cindy is like, yeah, I know it's way in advance, but you know how I get about these things.
She was so excited, too.
And she always calls him Mr. Sunshine.
Yeah.
But he doesn't respond in any way. Mm-hmm. He literally takes it, he looks at it, and he just backs or pushes the door open with his back and goes to his desk. And she's just kind of like...
She's like, I tried.
Yep.
And Kurt and Margot are arguing about taking some of his action figures off of his desk. Mm-hmm. And he says if he doesn't have them back, her teddy bear at her desk is going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And I think Lars tells him, like, it's his turn to get coffee. So he goes to get the coffee, and Margot asks Lars if he's going to Cindy's party. He's like, no, I'm not going to that. Well, you think I could bring my girlfriend? And Margot is clearly shaken a little bit by this. She's
she
like,
looks crestfallen.
Yes. Like... And she's just, oh, yeah, no, that'd be cool. I'm totally bringing someone too.
And then there was a split second where I was like, she's going to get a male sex doll and bring him. And I was like...
This movie's about to get real meta.
Oh, yeah. That's the plan. That's the ploy.
But then he's like pinning it to his wall.
And he's got a picture of Karen and Gus there.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know if it was them or his like mom and dad.
I thought it was Karen and Gus.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's Karen and Gus because Karen and Gus have the same photo in their house.
Oh,
Okay.
now that I
Table.
missed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, Karen is actually having lunch with her friends, and they're talking about Bianca. And one of them says something about, does she have a
little hoo-ha?
You know, yeah. And Karen is like, uh-huh. And one of the ladies has the best response of, well, she really is just one of the girls or one of the gals. And they all just start laughing. And these are all ladies we meet periodically throughout the movie. Like, one of them, I think, works at the place where Bianca gets a job. One of them's a hairdresser. And I don't know about the other one.
And one is Miss Gertie. No.
Miss Gruner?
Gruner.
No, because these are all younger
These
ladies.
were
That's
younger
true.
ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, Miss Gruner is a much older woman.
Yeah.
The thing that threw me off about this movie is they all look like they're from the 70s, but like this is not a movie that like it could have been a period piece except for the internet.
Yeah, and the doll.
Yeah. So I'm like,
I don't know when they came up with those, but
it makes you just wonder if Wisconsin's stuck in the 70s. I've never been to Wisconsin, so I don't. Wisconsin listeners, let us know. Have y'all progressed?
Somewhere in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's
Please
just
excuse
now.
her.
Wisconsin is just now getting to 2007 technology.
That checks out.
Depending on
Maybe
who you
it's
ask,
just small community vibes. Like
That's what I was getting. It's just small community
Yeah.
vibes.
depending on who you ask, the entire country is going back in time. But we won't get into that.
No, you're right.
No, we did.
Yeah, you're right.
We took one big 60-year step back.
Massive.
Oh, and then we get Gus at work, and his coworkers are talking about it. And one of the guys is like, "Does she have a sister?"
Mm-hmm.
And this one dude has an amazing comment of, "Wish I had a woman that couldn't talk." Classy.
So classy. The vibes.
Mm-hmm.
This is a male workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But even then, after that scene, we go to like the little powwow in the church basement. We have the Reverend there and a bunch of the churchgoers. One of them, Mrs. Gruner.
Don't look at me like that. I didn't know what this group was.
It could be Alcoholics Anonymous.
That's one more wrinkle in this movie we don't need.
I had to.
Because I was like, who's this group of people? They're all old. And I was like, but Karen and Gus are in here. So, like...
I had to vehemently insist that this was a church group And Etta's like, I don't know if that was a church
and he's
group.
like, the Reverend's right
He's
there. And I was
literally
like,
right
the
there.
Reverend can have problems too. Like,
And I'm just
The
like,
Reverend could be an alcoholic.
they went to the highest like form of support that they knew, and that was their church group.
look, man.
Yeah, it's just another one of those things showing small town community.
Exactly.
They're just like, we got to talk to the church about this.
Does
one.
this church room not have a meeting room? Like a conference
Apparently,
room?
they were in the.
Maybe they can't afford it.
It is a
That's-
small town.
It is a small town.
Yeah, and like, the church is old, and maybe the basement's like the warmest part
For the old people.
Yeah,
You small people.
yeah,
Our
a small
church.
group of people.
Our church definitely used to have like meeting rooms and stuff in the back, kitchen and everything.
It is Wisconsin, so the basement also makes sense, though.
And one of y'all were asking, is there no meeting room for the church group? Like just like that's not the basement? Because you did say that they were in church basement, right?
That's
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
thought it was. Yeah.
It looked like a storage because there was just piles of stuff behind them.
Was this the extra secret meeting room or something?
They didn't want anyone to know they were talking about a sex doll.
I had to insist. No, this is a church group. This is their church group. All these people
I
are in
wasn't
their
following.
church. They all go to church. These are church folk. This is a Christian movie.
It's a movie with Christians. I wouldn't say it's a Christian movie.
There's a lot of church scenes.
Oh my gosh.
Small town community.
He's a church boy. Also, his new girlfriend, also a church girl.
She is.
Heavy Christian themes in this movie.
I think it's because it's Wisconsin. I don't know much about Wisconsin.
Heavy.
Heavy cream. They love cheese.
Is that Wisconsin? Oh my God! Wait, is that Wisconsin?
I don't know.
Where's Green Bay?
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the Packers? Cheeseheads. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I tried to order some cheese from Wisconsin one time.
there was no cheeses in this
You
movie,
did?
unfortunately.
I did. I wanted a special type of cheese, and I needed it to be from Wisconsin.
There might have been cheese in the movie.
I'm sure they had like a small
Where?
crudité and charcuterie situation going.
I have no idea what a crudité is, but we don't need to dwell on
It's a
that.
vegetable platter.
Yeah, they had the church meeting in the basement where
With no cheese.
Gus and Karen were explaining to the church group what was going on, and the church group was
Not having it.
they were doing their best, doing their Christian best at grasping what was going on with this situation.
And there's it's Karen, Gus, Mrs. Gruner, the Reverend Bach, and 4 other people whose names I did not bother writing down. But the 4 other people are the ones who are not having it. Like, well, she's not coming to church. It's a really angry old man.
Oh yeah,
Is it Mr. Hofstetter?
Could be. Sure.
Sounds right.
Dang.
Hofstetter.
He was really angry. They were all very supportive of Lars though.
In
Yeah.
the end.
They were even during, most of them they were just like, Lars is he's a
A
good
good
boy,
boy.
but this doll though.
Sex is bad.
Yeah, they weren't having it.
Well, it's great because Mrs. Gruner is the first one to speak up and be like,
She
yeah.
calls everybody out on their
Oh,
shit.
and I wrote them down.
Yeah.
She says, one of them, your cousin puts cats in dresses.
Which is nothing wrong with that, personally. I haven't done it, and I want to.
It's
but-
delusional.
Well,
Don't do it.
it's another thing of they're judging Lars for his things, but everyone has a thing that we consider weird,
Okay, that's fair.
and it's like, well, your cousin puts cats in dresses. Your nephew gave all of his money to a UFO club. The Mr. Hofstetter, your first wife was a klepto,
I love this.
and he says, no, she wasn't. To which Mrs. Gruner replies, then why is she buried in a pair of my earrings? She calls them all out, and she says that she's willing to help. And someone asks Reverend Bach what he thinks, and he says something along the lines of, I think we need to do what's best for Lars. And
what would Jesus do?
that's what he said.
That's what the old man. I think when they had came to the conclusion, okay, we're gonna help Lars. That's when the old man, the angry old guy, was just like, well, she's not coming to church, is she? And then the Reverend was just like, well, what would Jesus do? And then I think the next scene, she's at church.
Absolutely right.
Yep.
And she's sitting there in her wheelchair, and
Singing along
With the book?
choir.
yeah,
Yep.
Margot is kind of looking like, what the fuck?
But she isn't completely disgusted.
No. And Reverend Bach has a thing about welcoming new people to the church today. And when they're leaving, the little group that was hanging out in the little basement powwow are standing around, and Mrs. Gruner gives Bianca a big bouquet of flowers, and she addresses her as Bianca, just like Reverend Bach. When they're leaving, Reverend Bach says goodbye to Bianca, and they're all really feeding into Lars's delusion.
This is not the most, for as many old people they have in this church, it's not the most disability-friendly church.
Yeah, because they have to carry her wheelchair down the stairs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, they haven't gotten
Ramps?
yet. That's coming
Hopefully.
for the next sex doll and wheelchair.
Yeah.
They learned.
Yeah.
This was a teaching moment for everybody.
The small community hasn't needed a wheelchair yet.
Yeah. Also, where does Miss Gruner keeps getting all these flowers?
Maybe she's a florist.
Could be.
They're fake. They're fake flowers.
Oh yeah, Lars tells her that they're fake so they won't die.
Yeah, they'll last
Oh.
forever.
I forgot about that.
So
yeah.
she's a fake florist.
Sure.
No,
I mean,
not
she
a
is
fake,
playing a
but
character in a movie, so
apparently
technically.
every week they put together a bouquet for the church, and then they deliver it to
Somebody.
somebody so they can enjoy the flowers.
Look, it's a
Okay.
plastic girl. We'll give her plastic flowers. It makes sense.
It's
So they can
perfect.
both live forever.
It's flawless.
But we see a shot of Karen dressing Bianca, and it was funny because pregnant women have a hard enough time putting on their own shoes, and she's putting on Bianca's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And Erica had a comment of, why are Bianca's legs always spread?
Bianca's constantly just like...
Because Bianca's man-spreading in this scene hardcore.
My favorite scene. Well, it's not my favorite. I have an actual favorite scene. But in regards to that was when he takes her into the woods and lays her against the rock, and she's just laying against the rock.
Her legs all spread out.
That's actually coming up.
Yeah.
But she also wipes her makeup off in this moment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she looks less like a whore. I feel like we should have did that before church.
Which I'm surprised that the
She
makeup
looks less like a whore.
could come off. Unless it came off with like acetone or something.
Maybe?
She just grabbed a tissue.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like an acetone light wet wipe.
I feel like that's just a why. Why bother putting makeup on your sex doll?
Or for like your fingernails is what acetone's for.
Look, he liked her to look good.
I want you to be pretty.
Ready to go. Straight out the box.
When she
Don't
was
even take her out the box.
Running
Just
from
jump
the
in the box with her.
missionary.
Look, now we said earlier about when she lost her wheelchair at the airport, they put her in a box and they put holes in the box.
Right.
Those holes were already there in the box.
Right.
He got the glory hole special.
Jesus.
Man, my man Lars, he was the true genius in
And
his
cleaned her
right
up
mind.
afterwards and refreshened her makeup.
There you go. But Lars is going to take Bianca to the lake. But for the rest of the movie, I don't think she has makeup on. And she looks...
You can say it whenever you're ready to say it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
This was an interesting tidbit that Etta found out.
Please.
This doll has 9 faces.
9 faces.
9 faces.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the movie, they
Throughout
used,
the movie, they change her face. And I thought I was tripping. I don't like dolls. So, like, when her face looked different, I was like, nope, not a thing. But you really notice it at the end.
When she starts to look sick?
Yes.
I said that too.
So they
I said it
actually
like
do
5 times.
change her face. So she comes heavily make-upped. And then when Karen looks like she's wiping the makeup off, it's more of a natural look. And then towards the end of the movie, she has like a greenish tint to her to show her declining. So there's 9 different faces on this doll.
Yeah, I really thought at one point that it was going to turn out to be like she was actually alive. Just couldn't
Just
talk.
a whole, what's that movie with Tyra Banks?
Oh, yeah, like
Yeah.
life size.
Life size.
Yes.
Or that movie Mannequin from the 80s. Where
No-
a guy puts a magic necklace on a mannequin and it comes to life.
That movie's so good.
I would not watch that movie.
It's so good.
They made a sequel, Mannequin 2 on the Move.
yeah,
That
no.
was not as good. I didn't like it, though.
But yeah.
That's wild that they actually had... I wanted to say I noticed that it looked different, but I thought it was just because they washed the makeup off.
Right.
I noticed she looked different at the end. I was like, damn, she's really looking
She looked
sick.
rough.
I
Yeah.
said the
And
same
then
thing.
Jeremy's just like, that doll's face changed. I was like, there's no way. And then I had to look it up, and I was like, oh my god.
They put bags under her eyes. Really make her look tired.
She really did
Her
look
eyes are all
rough, though.
bloodshot and shit.
Yeah.
But they, Lars takes her up to the lake where they used to play as kids, and Gus goes on the computer, and he goes to ask.com,
That's how you know this movie's old.
Mm-hmm.
and he looks up mental illness, and we see Lars is in a treehouse singing to Bianca. And Ryan Gosling is singing in this really high-pitched voice. And he's just laid back in the treehouse with his feet kicked up.
And she's laying down on the grass with her legs spread wide.
And he's... E is for the way. And it's great the way
Not
he's doing
singing
this.
bad, though.
No, way better than what I just did.
Yeah. Especially being on his back.
Extraordinary.
And then he's just like, I can also... Oh, you should watch me chop wood.
Yeah.
I'm really good at that, too.
I missed that line the first time around. But it makes sense because we see him chopping wood with her almost in, like a few scenes later.
Yep.
He's got her propped up watching him chop wood.
Yep.
But we have our second doctor's appointment. And this is where they're sitting in Dagmar's office and she's asking for a complete history for Bianca. And he says something about her parents died when she was little. And God, he says one more thing. Does anyone remember what it was? He gives a little bit more information about her.
Can't remember.
I don't remember
The
either.
doctor's visits kind of blurred a little bit.
Yeah, I was trying to keep notes for each one. Maybe it was just the fact that they died when she was a baby. That's what I have written in my notes.
Something about it doesn't... She doesn't let it affect her?
Maybe, yeah. She doesn't
Something
let
to
anyone.
that.
She doesn't use it. She doesn't let anyone pity her for it.
Right.
And Dagmar says something about that's very brave of her to do that.
Right.
And Lars asks about a picture. Is that your husband? And yeah, he's dead. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh no.
Wait, is this that same?
It's that same scene.
Oh, okay.
Because Lars says something about it must get lonely. And she goes, yeah, sometimes. She asked him a question if he gets lonely, which I think actually leads to him pointing at the picture to begin with. Because he avoids questions.
Right.
Because he was playing with that bird toy to which he drops.
Yeah. And then we have Gus is having lunch with his work friends. And they're like, so what's the difference between a delusion and a...
Hallucination.
Hallucination. And it's like, is it like how one of the guys he works with, how he thinks that the government's always after him?
Yeah, but they also mentioned AAA, and I'm like, AAA's after no one. Unless you call them.
Because he says all these government agencies are after him,
Yeah.
and then AAA, who they are quite literally after you if you need help.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. The delusion. It's just in his head. It's not something he actually, or that, it's not something he's actually seeing that's not there. It's actually something that's in his head telling him it's real.
They made complete sense of it just like that. Like,
Yeah.
wait, we have a guy right here who also has delusions. Like, hey, wait a minute. Like, okay, now I understand everything. Now he's not that weird anymore.
And then we get one of the funniest shots, Bianca bubble bath time. And Gus and Karen are washing Bianca in the tub. And Erica pointed out, it was nice they ran her an actual bubble bath.
Yeah, they gave her suds and everything, and I was like, go ahead, girl.
And
Look.
they're trying to wash her, and she falls face first into the water.
And then they leave her.
They leave her there, but then her ass is just poking up out
With
of
her
the water.
legs spread.
Yeah. And it was a real good thing that Lars didn't walk in this moment.
my
He
God.
would have been freaking out.
Oh, he'd have flipped the whole fuck out.
Because Bianca, they're laughing, and Bianca's drowning in the background.
And fucking Gus. Gus is just like, this is not funny.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah, he's not having it.
Karen's like, well,
It is funny.
she needs a bath.
Yeah.
They do have a little laugh though, because Gus falls
Yeah.
over and they get a little
Yeah.
chuckle out of it. But Gus is still a little what's the word I'm looking for?
He's not all the way in on it yet.
Yeah.
He's really not all the way for it.
Not yet.
And he's just like, okay, we're going way farther than I wanted to go in the first place.
Because I don't know if I would have been washing this doll.
Look, Karen said, we got to wash this doll.
No, you just splash her a little bit of water and you're like, yeah, I gave her a bath. Look, her hair's wet.
Take a little wet wipe, a horse bath.
I don't know.
Using the
nothing.
word whore a lot in this episode.
I mean,
I feel like you got some strong feelings towards Bianca.
I love Bianca. I think Bianca's amazing.
And apparently think Bianca is a whore as well.
She is a sex doll.
She's a real doll.
Sorry, you're right. She is a real doll.
You corrected Adam about this earlier.
Get it right.
We can't go back on this now.
You are correct.
But this is where we get another doctor's appointment, and this one was funny because almost every shot, Dagmar has a different food item in her hand. Like it starts off, she's sitting at her desk and she's eating her lunch, and again she's talking to Lars about it starts off with Bianca letting her sleep after her treatment, but she's got a drink, cuts to Lars, cuts back, now she's got a sandwich. Cuts back to Lars, cuts back to her, now she's got a fruit cocktail. Or maybe a fruit salad or something.
No, definitely fruit cocktail. A little, like canned fruit cocktail.
It did, in a big Tupperware container.
Yeah.
But it was just, I thought they were doing a bit for
I didn't even
this
notice
scene.
that.
Yeah, because it just kept cutting away, cutting back, and she was eating a different thing. And they're talking about Karen, and Lars is like, all right, well, I mean, Karen's great. Because Dagmar also asked for a little bit more about Karen, because she doesn't really know her that well. And Lars is like, but she has a problem. And I don't know if I think it's because she's insecure. But she likes hugging people, and she does it too much. And Dagmar's like, well, some people like a good hug. It's comforting. And Lars starts just like, no. You don't like it when people hug you? Oh God, no. It's like it hurts. It's almost like when you walk out in the snow with no gloves on. It's awful. I don't like it. And she says, well, I mean, I can't really do anything to help Karen with that, but I can probably help you. And they're in her examination room, and Lars has his jacket off because he mentions that living up here is good because he wears so many layers. So when people touch him, he doesn't really feel it. And she touches his bare forearm, and he's like, no, that's okay. I can take that. And she very gently puts her hand on his neck, and he jumps up like someone put hot coals on him.
Mm-hmm.
Dagmar's like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? And he, yeah. I'm okay. I'm fine. And he puts his sweater back on.
So apparently that's hyperesthesia, like a sensitivity to touch. It's a disorder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, Lars is just riddled with disorders.
But also I agree with him, because you can't just be hugging people willy-nilly.
True.
In my opinion.
I agree.
I mean, I hug people, but I have a good rapport with them.
That makes sense.
Right.
But I work retail.
That's true.
And the amount of people that want to hug you for no reason is ridiculous.
That's completely sane.
Yes.
To find that weird.
Yeah.
But like Karen's his
that is true.
His loving sister-in-law.
Yeah.
That's the part of it that I thought was like, yeah, if my family member that very clearly
cares for me. Right.
I'd be fine with it.
I mean, some customers do ask before, like, can I hug you? And I'm like, if you have to ask, then you should know.
But even what situation would you need to hug me? Like, if I'm in Target, I've never looked at a cashier and been like, let me give you a hug.
Man, you rang my stuff up so fast.
Maybe they need some comfort.
I mean, that's possible.
That's what it is.
It's like,
honestly.
I need some comfort, and you're the only person.
It's just older people, and I take the time to talk to them, and they're just like, "Can I get a hug from you?"
It's
and
like hugging my grandson.
If I get old enough where I need to start hugging my Costco cashiers or something, put me out, guys. Put me down.
Look, at that point, you might be like, you know what? You're a young person. You're working at Costco. You're probably going through it. You did a good thing for me. I want to hug you.
So I understand it. It's just weird to me.
You and me both.
It's just weird to me.
Y'all need some love in y'all life. Y'all soulless out here not giving out hugs. Being stingy with the hugs,
like,
man.
I'm like just sitting there imagining like I'm at Kroger and I'm like trying to get some beef or something from like the butcher, and I'd be like, God, you really helped me pick out that pork chop. Can I get a hug? Bring it in.
Like, bring it in. Give your cashiers a hug,
Look,
guys.
I'm
For
still
the
not,
listeners
please
out there.
Don't
Hug
Don't-
your
don't.
cashiers if they need it.
Don't listen to Jeremy.
If that person
Please.
needs a hug, ask them if they need a hug. Just get permission first. Like, do you need a hug?
Now that's different. I'm gonna
Yeah.
definitely ask permission. Don't just go in for a hug on a stranger.
Yeah, just ask for it,
Oh God.
They're like, yeah, I could use a hug. It's like, they bring it in. If they break down, though, you got yourself into something.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you hug them and they like break
what
down
if I
on
don't
the
want
spot,
to get in that situation?
you got yourself into
I don't want
something.
your tears and your boogers on my shoulder.
It was like, uh-oh.
Look, I gotta leave now. You're gonna have to deal with whatever this is.
Look, leave your retail people alone.
You're in
okay?
too deep now.
You're at Petco.
If I wanted to be a psychologist, I would have gotten a degree. I don't want to listen to your life
Hey, now.
story. I'm sorry.
That doesn't mean you're going to get the job.
No, I'm fair. That's fair.
It just means you're
I'm
going to get
with
the
you.
degree.
Like, just because I have to listen And just anyway, that's a whole can of worms.
When you're this far up north, it helps to be a cashier and a psychologist.
Well, I guess I know what I need to do now in life. Thank you.
You gotta be a psychologist. What if everyone in the town is a psychologist?
Low-key.
That's why everybody's so supportive. They're all
Everyone's reporting
psychologists.
back to Dagmar at the end of the day.
Oh man.
They're all comparing notes.
Oh my.
Yeah. Oh my God! Look, Lars got her a job today. Wow, that's
man.
really good progress. Wow. But after that doctor's appointment, where they try the touch therapy, I don't know what else to call it. This is where Lars actually decides to go to Cindy's party, and he's bringing Bianca. She's in her wheelchair. As they're going up the stairs, he says something about, well, it's like scientifically proven that everyone's favorite word is their own name.
Oh my God, this is gonna.
What?
So I think I paused the movie at this point because
Yeah.
I was like, is your favorite word your name? And Terry's like, a lot of people like hearing their name. I'm like, I absolutely hate hearing my name, but that's also from work because usually when somebody's calling my name, they need something.
My favorite word is not my name.
I don't hear my name often enough. Like, not a lot of people. Like, my mom says my name probably more than anybody in the world.
I've never heard your grandmother call you by your real name.
Yeah, like, I don't hear my name very often. And no one says it the same. So,
Erica.
yeah, it's
Erica.
It's weird. I don't know.
Eureka.
Sometimes they're just wrong.
Yeah. I hate my name, too. I've thought about changing my name, but then you got paperwork involved, and I'm too lazy.
That's too much.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should probably figure that out first.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to do it. Again, I'm too lazy.
Adam question mark.
Simon.
Definitely not.
Simon's a good one.
Anyway.
PSY Simon.
Yes.
What is PSY Simon?
No, I'm just instead of Simon. Yeah.
Simon.
Yeah. Don't do it SI. PSYMON. So yeah, I'm Simon. Like, is this how you spell this? Like, yep.
Please don't. I will judge you.
That's...
It'll go right along with your new psych degree.
But when they go to the party, Cindy opens the door, and again...
Wait, he pauses before he rings the doorbell.
Oh, you're right. He does.
Also, this scene was improvised.
The scene at the door?
The
greeting.
arriving at the party.
Oh, when he walks in?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So that scene was I don't know how much of it was improvised, because Jeremy's like, how much of it? I'm like, I don't know, but there were a lot of, like, gaps in it.
Mm-hmm.
Of people being quiet and people, like, looking confused. So I think it really fed into how people were feeling.
Yeah, because probably they had heard about the doll, but not, like,
Everyone in
seen
this
the doll.
fucking town has heard about
Yeah.
Bianca. But it's again, everyone is trying to work with Lars here. They're trying to do what's best for him. And Cindy calls her husband Baxter.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him somewhere, but I can't think of where I've seen him.
Some Hallmark movie.
No.
He's a big
maybe.
dude. Well, he, again, comes in. Everyone's like, oh, Bianca, it's nice to meet you. Oh, is this for us? And Bianca's got a bottle of wine in her lap.
Mm-hmm.
See, Bianca's great. She's bringing gifts to the household. She's not going to drink it because she
doesn't drink.
Exactly.
She doesn't drink.
And Lars says she doesn't like it when he drinks, but he's only going to have one beer.
One beer.
One beer. And Margot comes over and is like, I can help you guys take your coats off.
Mm-hmm.
And Lars has the again, he's still very uncomfortable around people of, Bianca, this is Margot, this is Bianca. And he's like looking down and away. And there's only two people in this movie that are just straight assholes. And they're at this party. Because when Lars is sitting around with Bianca and Cindy and a few other characters, they're talking, and Lars they're talking about Bianca's hair. And like, Lars, what do you think about her hair? He goes, well, I don't care what kind of hairstyle she has. It's her choice. Whatever she likes, I like. And he goes to get her, one of the ladies, a glass of wine. And there are these two people standing near Margot who are like, man, what a fucking weirdo. This guy's a freak. And she goes, he's not, oh God. She defends him by saying something about, like that's Bianca. And Margot says, aren't you two getting married? And the guy says no, and the woman says yes. So she immediately shuts their shit down.
Right.
And walks off.
Yes.
Yep.
She knew a fire she started.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was wild. I was like, oh,
I'm going to light this match and I'm going to leave.
Margot got some fire in her.
How y'all that far off page?
Oh, they were way off page.
But they were really nice with Bianca. They start dancing.
This whole scene did not go how I thought it was going to go at all.
No.
Everyone being real chill about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Baxter was the one dancing with Bianca.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a little bit of a moment when I saw that too. I was just like, "Mine is out here." Okay. I was like, "All right, homie."
He's feeding into it.
Because at the door, he didn't seem like he wanted to go along with it.
He was caught off guard, just
Right.
like Gus and Karen earlier in the movie. But he went along with it.
He did.
And
You know that debrief later at night was top tier.
we're missing some. There were some great scenes that weren't in this movie.
Oh yeah,
That
These
dude,
characters.
that dude is chill. He lives in Wisconsin. He cool.
one of two black people in that town. Yeah,
He ain't from Atlanta. It's all good.
They got lost.
Maybe.
You see how fucking cold this movie looks?
Oh yeah. I was like, I would not have been out here.
Oh no,
And then Lars is dancing too,
Mm-hmm.
but looking real awkward.
real
Like-
He
awkward.
looks so uncomfortable.
I couldn't tell whether he was pained
or having a good time,
or having a good time.
but he looked sharp in his 3-piece suit.
This is the part where I thought he looked like his character from The Nice Guys.
Mm.
Because his hair is slicked back, he's got his sideburns, his mustache. He doesn't have the full 5 o'clock shadow, but he's got the 3-piece suit on. I was like, oh shit, that's whatever the hell his character's name was in The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
It's like the same look, and it's only about less than 10 years away from that.
Right.
I couldn't tell in this scene if the music and how loud it was bothering him, because we
Oh,
kind of got
that's
that
right.
vibe earlier with the office scene when he told dude, "Hey, put your headphones on."
Oh, yeah.
So I
yeah.
couldn't tell if the music was bothering him, but he was dealing with it because he wanted Bianca to have a good time and he
'Cause
knew
somebody
everybody
did
else having a
turn
good
the
time.
music up too.
Cindy.
And I couldn't tell if maybe he was making that face because in the next scene it kind of gives the indication that he might have been so happy that he was fighting back tears.
It could be because the next scene is them driving home, Lars and Bianca, and he is kind of crying in the car, but he says he's happy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of thinking the same thing. Maybe at the party, he didn't know how he was supposed to feel in this moment.
Right.
It was emotion he hadn't felt in a long time.
He might have been getting like overloaded.
yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely probably overstimulated.
Oh yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah. But the next day he's reading to Bianca and he like glances down the hall and he sees Karen like looking at her baby belly and he starts reading almost getting choked up a little bit. And this is where I think this is like for the viewer the first indication that her pregnancy is the thing that's making him
Have this delusion.
yes.
Attach himself to this other thing outside of his family.
Yeah.
Also, the book he's reading is Don Quixote,
Oh.
and it's the main character in the book also has delusions.
Oh wow.
I thought he was reading the Bible.
I also
I-
thought he was reading the Bible.
She looked it up.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But this is where he takes Bianca to visit the graveyard, and this is where we get the date in which their dad died was 2003,
Gotcha.
and we also see his mother's date she died was 27 years prior. And then we have our next doctor's appointment where they're working on the actual physical touch thing again. But I think this time it's just Dagmar is like putting her hand on his shoulder, and they start talking about is he excited to be an uncle? And this is where we really learn about the problem is with the pregnancy, because he has a full-blown panic attack because she says something about, he says it's unsafe and he's worried about her, but Dagmar's like, look, medicine has come a long way since what happened to your mom. The likelihood of that happening again now is so low. He goes, but it could still happen. And he keeps saying that, but it could still happen. It could still happen. And he starts pacing back and forth. He takes his sweater off. He opens the window, and he's just freaking out. And Dagmar has to keep telling him, look, sit down, put your head between your knees. Put your head between your knees. Put your head between your knees. And he finally calms down. And in this moment, when she touches him, he doesn't freak out about that. Because she's kind of like rubbing his back to try to calm him. And I don't know if it was kind of working or if he was just too panicked to notice.
That was probably it.
But then they go to the mall, and as Lars is pushing Bianca in her wheelchair through the mall, they pass a little cell phone kiosk. He goes, we should get cell phones. Then we can talk to each other all the time. This movie is so dated with its technology. Because this came out, 2007, so we were all mid to late teens.
2007, 15.
Yeah, I would have been 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't have a cell phone when this movie came out.
I did. I had had a cell phone. I got my first cell phone when I was in 6th grade.
I didn't get one until I was a senior in high school.
It's kind of early.
But when they're walking through the mall, one of the ladies I think Karen was having lunch with sees Lars and Bianca, and she's like calls them into her store, and she gives Bianca a job. And she goes, "What if you worked on so and so days, like every other day?" Mm-hmm. And Lars is like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." And she goes, "What do you think, Bianca? Is that cool with you?" So this fucking doll is employed.
Job.
Right.
Maybe there's like a tax break in here somewhere that they can work out. Like, write this off as like a business expense.
Oh, gosh.
Pocket the return.
And
I
then
don't know.
it jumps to them being in church, and the lady leans over, and they're like, Bianca wants to volunteer on Thursdays at the children's hospital.
Yep.
Well, she wants to volunteer at the hospital.
Yeah.
And she says something about, all the little bald kids would love it.
Yeah.
Think of the bald kids, Lars.
And Lars like, yeah, they would love that.
Because he was like, I don't know. And he's like, and she's like, think of all the little bald heads. It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm. Then she gets a makeover. It's the lady who's a hairdresser. It's Cindy and Margot. And they're like, what do you think if we gave her bangs?
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, it's like, all right, we get one shot at this because it's not growing
Is that
back.
growing back? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they all get a little chuckle out of it. And I think then it shows, and this is probably one of my favorite things, she's reading to kids.
Yes.
Oh my
They have her-
god. And the speaker.
Yeah, they have a little recording of the book, and she's sitting there, and they've propped the book up in Bianca's hands, and all the kids are like, oh, wow. And the teacher's even getting in on it.
My favorite idea of this is, like, I feel like these kids are going to, like, look back at this in, like, 10 or 15 years and be like, do y'all remember that time we had that doll read to us?
Did that really happen?
It's like, was that a fever dream?
Because these are small children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we see Karen is going through the house, shutting off all the lights, and she sees Lars and Bianca out in the garage dancing. Mm-hmm. And another moment that's sweet, and Gus is worried that Lars is not going to get any better. He's like, look, he's nothing's changed. It's still the exact same thing. It's probably been weeks at this point. Mm-hmm. But he's not, nothing's different now. And this is that moment where it shows that Gus does really care about him, because he has that thing about when Mom died, Dad was an emotional wreck, and I could not wait to get away from him. So as soon as I was able, I left. I left Lars alone with him, and I shouldn't have. It was selfish of me to do that. And he has the line that we mentioned earlier about Lars moving out into the garage like the family dog, and he feels just heartbroken about it, and he feels like this is all his fault.
Do they ever say how much older Gus is than Lars?
No, never specified.
I think old enough that he had time to leave home while
So probably 18, I would assume.
like 18 years older.
No, not 18 years, but he was 18 when he left the house.
Yeah, probably 18 when he left, but maybe like
Oh, yeah, but he didn't leave him as a baby, though. I get what you're saying.
he had to be old enough to understand what was going on for a while. Maybe like 5.
5 years older?
Yeah.
Because he has memories of his mom
Mm-hmm. Maybe like 5 or 6.
and memories of his dad. Yeah, so, yeah. Or, yeah, at least
I'd
at
say
least 5?
10 at the most.
Yeah. Because they were kids together playing in the woods.
Mm-hmm. So I'd say 10 at the most.
Yeah, because Lars mentions that Gus and his friends would go up to the woods where he took Bianca earlier in the movie, and they would go swimming in the summer. They would play hockey in the winter. They would build clubhouses.
But then he also could have been just the younger brother that was like, hey, bring your brother.
Yeah, for real.
Yep. I know that feel.
So I was trying to Google the age difference between the brothers, but everything just keeps telling me Lars is 28 and nothing on how old Gus is.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'd say 5 years is a good bet.
Yeah. Somewhere between 5 and 10, probably great.
Yeah. Well, let's see the age difference between the actors. If we're going by the actors' ages, there's 4 years between the actors. And Ryan Gosling was roughly 27 when he did this movie.
Oh.
Because he was born in 1980.
Oh.
So, yeah, let's say there's 4 years between them.
Pretty good casting.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and he, Karen tells him, come over here, and then she's basically holding and consoling her husband. She's telling him it's not his fault.
It's like, if we got to do this forever, we're going to invest in some wet wipes because I'm not giving her a bath anymore.
Karen's going to watch that doll.
Mm-hmm.
Karen's going to do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
We've established that. She's a very caring person.
We also forgot to mention that when they were at the party, Margot was flirting with this guy, Eric, who...
Oh my god, he pissed me off.
Well-
he looked very old.
Tickle fight.
He was balding
Yeah,
all
that
the
was
time.
weird.
Yes.
Not at a party with
We're at
other
an
people.
adult party and you want to have a tickle fight right now?
Hey,
Embarrassing me.
Gonna
man.
get punched fight.
The first time we see him is again at that party.
He works with them though too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, because he has his own cubicle. We see Margot and him flirting at the cubicle later.
She always keeps flirting in shots where, like, in the eyesight line where Lars can see.
Lars
Yeah,
is,
he's always positioned in the right spot.
Yeah.
Lars is looking too.
Mm-hmm.
It's done on purpose.
On the low.
Mm-hmm. But he's at work, and he's, like Erica just said, he's got the perfect line of sight because he goes to the vending machine and he grabs something. He's sitting in the break room, staring right out the door, straight at Eric's cubicle where Margot's standing, and they're laughing and flirting.
Them bags of chips in that snack machine, though.
What about him?
How big they were.
Oh, yeah.
And
They
then
were
Jeremy's
big.
like, oh yeah, back in the day,
Those are back then
bags were
times
big.
chips.
And I was like, what?
I bet there's way more chips in that bag.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds right.
Yep.
Because remember, I would always get, like, a bag of Cheetos and a Snickers and a Coke for lunch. And that would, like, carry me through till dinner.
Yep.
Them back then times
Yeah.
chips. Diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Inflation's so bad.
We live in inflationary times, as we said in
Yep.
the Hoodlum episode.
And then the bags of chips are deflating.
That's sad. Not my Doritos. But Lars is watching them, and he's like looking like, why are they doing that? Why are they happy? why are they flirting at work?
Lars ain't liking it.
Or he could be like, I wish my girl was at work. My real girl.
Instead, she's at home
His
doing
real
nothing.
Well, no. She's at her job.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
She has a job.
And a lot of volunteer services.
Good for Bianca. She's not a bum.
No. Bianca, as we learn in a few minutes, has a vibrant social life that requires a calendar on the fridge.
Schedule.
We're about to learn that right now because Lars comes home and he can't find Bianca, and he screams her name, and Margot and Mrs. Gruner are getting her ready upstairs. They're going to the hospital to volunteer for
I thought they were going to the VFW ball.
they're going to the hospital for the volunteer banquet at the VFW.
Gotcha.
And Lars is disheveled about this. He's like, "Look, we had plans. We were supposed to play Scrabble." And Karen's like, "Oh, her schedule's on the fridge. Did you not look at it?" He's like, "I guess I didn't look at it. I guess I forgot." And he asked him to leave the room.
He's very polite about it, too. He, like, puts his hand out. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
can you leave?
"Can we have the room for a minute, please?" And he closes the door, and he's got his head against the door for a second. And Mrs. Gruner and Karen go downstairs, and we can hear Lars yelling at this doll about, "We had plans, we were supposed to play Scrabble, and now you're not going to be here. Look, I'm your boyfriend, I shouldn't have to check the schedule." And in this moment, I had the thought, what if this movie shifted right here from a wholesome comedy to a domestic violence film?
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I also...
Like,
I was telling
immediately.
Etta, I was like, if he hits this doll, I don't know if I can deal with this. I don't think I can
It's
tolerate
okay,
him.
the community, but because this Gruner's just like, I don't like his tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I honestly feel like the community have been like, we got to get Bianca out of this relationship.
Right?
We
Yeah.
Get her a domestic violence advocate.
But I thought it would be like, this is going to be really fucked up.
Yeah.
But the next scene, Bianca has a black eye.
Oh my god. So what
He
you
put
Who
makeup on this
painted
doll.
that one on?
Yeah.
so what you not about to do is
I mean, it's like, because Karen even says, "Oh wow, they never fight."
yeah. I was just like, he better not hit this freaking doll. I swear to God.
God.
But think how crazy that would be. What a fucking twist.
Yeah.
It would have been.
This took a turn. Like, I can't deal with any more turns at this point.
No.
But then at that moment, I know Margot would still be like, you know what? Something
Oh,
about that Lars.
God, no. I hope not. I could fix him.
Mm-hmm. Margot has her heart set.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Mrs. Gruner is getting Bianca in the car, and she's like, "Well, do you expect her to wait around all day for you? She's got a life of her own."
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you do that for her? She's like, "God, big baby."
Just like my husband.
Oh, yeah. And then she says, she'll be back at 11.
And
She
takes
gets in the
off.
car and zoom, zoom, zoom.
Took that man's doll. Oh, and he was pissed.
And this is where I
Wait.
wrote down the...
Let's circle back real fast. Right? So, what I like most about this is they're not even pretending to like not have Bianca activated this. Like they have her like actively doing stuff.
They were dolling her up.
Right? It's like he's not.
No pun intended. I apologize.
He's like not inside to see what is happening, so they could just have her sitting in the corner. But I feel like people are probably at this ball dancing with Bianca.
Dancing with that man's woman.
Well, there's a great line later that I think fully supports what you just said, and I can't wait to get to it.
Okay.
But this is a really great scene. This is one of the better scenes in the movie to me. Also funny, but because in my notes I wrote down angry wood chopping. Because Lars goes outside and he's like, "Look, no one cares. Like, we had plans, but everyone is taking my girlfriend away. I shouldn't have to check the schedule for her." And Karen confronts him, and she's like, "You don't get to say that. You can't say people don't care. Everyone in this town is doing everything for you. We drive her to work for you. We bathe her. We clothe her. Everything for you."
And she's not light.
Right?
She's not petite.
She's not.
Not
She's a
petite.
big girl. But it's great. Karen's. It's a small monologue, but her monologue here I thought was great. It was again showing that how much they love Lars. But the actress who plays Karen,
Emily Mortimer,
is English, and this is the one part of the movie where she was struggling to keep that accent in a cage. When she was delivering some of these lines, she lost her Karen accent for just a little bit, and it was making me laugh while I was watching it.
Karen was laying into Lars in that scene.
It was
She
great.
was.
She was doing amazing.
Yeah, she was
and
mad.
rightfully so, though.
Yeah.
Very much so. It's like
Yeah.
nobody cares about me. Like, whoa.
Excuse me?
I'm gonna need you to what we not gonna do is say that this town don't care about you.
Right.
The whole town at that.
Because I'm like, I need you to step back from your delusion
Mm-hmm.
and look at what's
Yeah,
happening.
let me get real with you for a minute, buddy. This is what's happening.
The next thing we see is Gus is going to put Bianca to bed, which is kind of something he does every night now in the pink room. And he brings her. I don't know if he was bringing her the glass of water or if he was bringing it to bed.
Maybe Bianca does like a glass of water before she goes to sleep.
It's weird. Lars,
Also, I just like how they have duties.
yeah,
Right?
it's like,
Like,
every time I put her to bed, I give her a glass of water. When I come back in the morning, it's gone. You pick Bianca up.
yeet!
There's slushing noises coming out of Bianca.
No!
She's been drinking all the water.
But also, how do you... No, never mind.
I had some questions. I was like, oh. Gus
Like
has been
when you
putting Bianca to
wash
bed
her.
every night.
Oh, damn. It's like, wow, it's taking a
Stop.
while for you to come to bed after.
I said, hold on, dog. I don't know. I felt like that was a bad call. I feel like Karen definitely should have been doing that.
How do you get all the water out of her?
I don't
That's a
know.
damn good question.
Like when you wash,
What was that water for?
so there's 3 holes.
They just
all
squeeze
of her
it.
joints and everything, she's gonna be rusty as fuck.
I don't think she's
Also-
robotic.
It's
like-
good waterproof material.
Mildew smell.
There's probably a way to clean. Because I'm sure people are taking their sex dolls into hot tubs, you know?
You ain't supposed to be fucking in a hot tub, but you know what?
We've all fucked in a hot tub.
No, we have not.
Oh, okay. Never
I'm
mind.
a virgin.
My bad.
That is not
Alright.
sanitary?
Yeah, but they're washing
Nope.
Bianca like, hey, hand me the little thing you put in a baby's nose to get the boogers out. I gotta
Oh,
get
just-
this water out of Bianca.
Just water, nothing else. But yeah, I was like, hold on, Gus is putting her to bed. I don't
I did
like
not
this.
get those thoughts.
Gus and Bianca are having
I
a really
did.
close relationship.
I had those.
I didn't have that thought at all.
When he first went on that website, I thought this was about to take a turn.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
oh no.
Then it takes a different turn into a different kind of movie. Now there's a love triangle between the brothers and the dolls.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, this man's about to get him one. He's interested.
I love how this movie could potentially go off into separate avenues.
Any direction. Just the right moment just could set this movie off in a whole new genre of a movie.
But also, I think the best part of this movie is at no point do you know where it's going to go.
Nope.
Like, at no point.
Yeah. Who was putting Lars is in there with her.
Yeah, Lars is like talking to her about his day, kind of, and he tells Gus that he doesn't need to put her to bed anymore. He'll do it. And Lars is like, "Thank you." And Gus is kind of like, "I didn't really do anything." But he goes, "No, I really appreciate what you do."
Oh, is this him being like, you know what? Karen's correct.
I think so, yeah.
I think he realizes he's wrong. And then he, when Gus goes to his bedroom, Karen's like, we had a big fight. But we don't get to see it. We don't get to see the tea spilled in the moment. We cut away
the door
again.
shuts, yeah.
We need more shots of people in bed being like, so that was weird, right?
But the next thing is we're back at work, and this is where Lars meets Eric, because Margot and Eric are going somewhere, and
I think they're on the line.
probably
Because, he's sitting at his desk eating his sandwich or something.
and he's got like, again, angry eyes looking at Margot, and she walks up and goes, Lars, this is my boyfriend Eric. And Lars just goes, yeah, shakes his hand. He goes, you got a really strong handshake there, buddy. Heard all about you. And Lars again just, yeah, and he crosses his arms, being very defensive.
Then he stand up.
Yes, he did stand up to shake his hand. But when he says yeah again and crosses his arms, without saying a word, Margot and Eric just turn and walk away. Like, well, that's okay. Or, all right.
Well, he was taller than Eric, right?
He seemed like it, yeah.
Yeah. I feel
And
like
he
that's.
touched him.
I feel like that's why he stood up.
Oh,
He touched him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
shook it long enough to have a tight grip.
He felt like he needed to make an impression. So my man,
Had to establish dominance.
he
Yeah.
stood up. He was like, "I am taller than you. I'm gonna shake your hand very firmly now."
You know, I think this is playing into, he doesn't know what these emotions he's feeling are. He doesn't realize that he's attracted to Margot. So he doesn't understand why he's getting or acting the way he is. He seems like jealous.
Right.
But I don't think Lars understands that.
Yeah, he's definitely conflicted.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's at his most awkward with Margot.
Especially with that flower.
Oh, that's my favorite part. It's so
Delightful. Whoosh, gone. We have our next doctor's appointment, and he tells Dagmar that he asked Bianca to marry him. And she says, oh, that's great. Congratulations. When's the happy day? He goes, well, that's the thing. She said no.
Which, at that point, if your sex doll rejects your marriage proposal, you just gotta kill yourself. Like, you just gotta take yourself out if the sex doll says no.
He could have just got a different doll.
But I think, because the way Dagmar reacts, she's like, I don't think she says it, but her face is like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She said no. Mm-hmm. This is where Lars is starting to break his own delusion.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is where he's realized, or his subconscious is telling him he doesn't need Bianca anymore.
Yep.
If this is the love of his life, so to speak. She said no to his proposal.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming out of the delusion.
Yeah,
that
he
he's
was
in.
just starting to
Right.
come out of it.
And Dagmar, I think, is realizing this.
She's a good doctor.
She's great. What was her name again? Patricia?
Clarkson.
Yes, she does phenomenal in this movie. And then we have a scene of Lars and Bianca in the car, and the shot is outside the car, but you can hear them inside, and Lars is screaming at Bianca.
And then what gets me is they're in the car and he's like, "Don't talk to me like that." And I'm like,
Yep.
"Oh, you're talking to her some type of way."
Nah, she was saying some stuff.
She was saying some stuff that's personally you don't say.
She was calling him outside of his name.
We should have got a director's cut where we get all of Bianca's dialogue.
Oh, that would be amazing!
But
Oh, wow.
you don't get to talk to me like that. No, you don't get to talk to me like that. I'm getting out of the car.
Your feet stink and you're snot up my room.
Yep. And I definitely thought, once again, I was like, he better not hit that doll, I swear. If he hits that doll, we're done here.
You just hear hands on plastic.
Yep.
But he gets out of the car and he's like pacing. Goes, "Are you done? Are you calmed down? You gonna stop talking to me like that?" And again, it's further showing he's breaking delusion. Mm-hmm. The perfect little relationship he formed with this doll is falling apart.
Which is I feel like this is Lars when he's at his most deranged. Because if you're arguing with like somebody else in your head, full on, I was like, like when he was like being sweet, I was like, all right, cool. But now we're getting a little aggressive,
Oh, now he's treating this woman bad. It's getting,
Right?
this I can't tolerate.
right?
You ain't gonna treat this not real woman bad.
Exactly.
It's
It's a sign
great,
for
though.
Margot that she needs to not be chasing these waterfalls.
Nah, it's fine. Because they're still having discussions. He ain't done nothing.
Yet.
Nothing's happened.
well, she was being disrespectful in the car.
Very.
He got out of the car. He removed himself from that situation.
Yeah. See, Some guys would not have
And
done
waited
that.
for her to be done.
They would have
Yeah.
just went ahead and put hands.
Oh my gosh.
But then we see them at the treehouse again. He's not talking to her really at this point, though.
Which is another. Sorry, you know what? Never mind. It's fine. It's cool.
There's some hostility.
I was gonna be like, man, that's pretty damn crazy. You're having the silent treatment with a doll.
They just had a fight.
They just had a fight.
And then I think they're sitting by the lake again, and he's like looking at the lake, looking at her, looking at the lake, looking at her. And he's like, I could drown you right now.
Oh, stop.
I could kill you, Bianca. I'll push you out there in your wheelchair.
Spoiler alert, though.
Yeah.
It was his second baptism. To say goodbye.
Okay.
Well, the first baptism is, they introduce you to Jesus. The second, or they welcome you to Jesus, and the second one is you go meet him.
Yeah.
But then he's hanging out with Gus, and Bianca is hanging out with Karen out in the yard. Karen's painting like a little wooden horse.
Dressed like Miss Honey from Matilda.
Yeah.
Looking adorable.
And Lars is saying something about in Bianca's culture, you have to go through like a trial, and if you survive it, then you're basically a man. He's like, isn't that cool, Gus? He's like, yeah, that's pretty interesting. And he asked him when he realized he was a man, and Gus is having trouble explaining it. He's like, I mean, and then Lars tells or asks, is it sex? And Gus is like, I think at first he says no, but he's like, well, kinda, it's part of it, right?
And then he said, yeah, but not really.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't know.
It's like, for all I know, I might not be a man.
Mm-hmm.
I might still be but a boy.
I'm not a girl. I am not yet a woman.
And then the dryer goes off. He's like, hold that thought, and dips out hard.
Yeah. But when Lars follows him down to the basement, he tells him, like, look, man, the best thing I can tell you, don't be a dickhead to anybody. Don't cheat anybody. Don't cheat on your woman, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, that's just the best you can do.
Yeah, when you know what's right and you do what's right.
Yeah.
And you try to do right by people.
And this is where he apologizes to Lars.
Mm-hmm.
He tells him he's sorry that he wasn't there for him and he left him with their dad.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a very, very sweet moment. This movie's full of sweet moments.
Very much so. There's not a lot of conflict, honestly.
No.
Except for between Lars and
Margot
Bianca.
in the car? Not Margot.
Bianca.
Bianca in the car?
Yeah.
Bianca had a mouth on her. Y'all just didn't know.
She was being disrespectful. She was being downright rude. She's probably talking about his dead parents.
Oh,
You know what?
No.
She also has dead parents, though.
So?
They could be commiserating.
No.
Oh, man.
They weren't.
Okay.
They were
Bad.
fighting. I think the next thing is they go back to work, and Margot is fighting with Kurt because he hung her bear.
That was insane.
He wrapped a USB cord as a noose,
Mm-hmm.
not just a knot, like the full noose, and put it around her bear.
Which is impressive.
It's also psychotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirk was the one who needed to be going to see Dagmore.
I like this scene.
He needs to be on a
Yeah.
list.
It's one of my favorites.
He was on the Real Doll site at
Right.
work.
At
He's
work.
he's on the
Right.
list.
Work has him on a list.
And I'm probably on one now too.
You're not on my Wi-Fi, right?
Deaf.
Oh. Well.
We gotta burn the router.
We're already on a
Damn.
list.
Y'all are on the list already.
Yeah,
Y'all
we're
are.
already on a list.
The books Erica reads, though.
The podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, all of it gets uploaded from that computer.
Yep.
But she's really upset, and she runs into the break room, and Lars follows her. And as they're sitting there talking, Lars is taking the noose off of the bear, and she says, "Look, it's not even really about the bear. I dumped Eric." And he's like, "Well, why'd you do that?" She goes, "I don't know. He just wasn't that interesting."
It was the bald spot. I could keep catching my reflection in it, and it wasn't really working for me.
Homie was just boring.
That's what. He was boring, and the only reason she was really dating him to begin with is because sometimes she gets lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And while she's explaining this, Lars is performing CPR on this bear.
Which was also improvised.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And she asks him if he wants to go bowling Friday night. And this was the one thing that was backing up your theory earlier that they're actually engaging with Bianca at these things.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Well, no, I have to go to the school because Bianca got elected to the school board."
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
It's crazy work.
Yeah, and Karen, I keep getting these names wrong. I'm so sorry.
Butchering it.
Fucking up. Margot is like, oh, okay, that's fine. He goes, wait, no. After I drop her off, I'm totally free. Mm-hmm. Like Miss Gruner says, you expect her to wait around for you, but would you wait around for her, or would you go have a life? So he's like, all right, I'm finally gonna go do it. I'm gonna go hang out. And Margot is ecstatic about this.
So happy.
She's so excited about it.
Margot has the cutest tights, though. Like, I love her tights.
When she was in the office with the tights, or at the bowling alley.
The bowling alley, I think they're wearing jeans.
Yeah.
That's
Wasn't
right.
it the hospital, though? I swear he was in, like, a waiting room, and then I was like, oh, look at them tights, though. The white tights?
Yeah.
That was
with
at the
lace.
office, wasn't it?
Oh, was
Yeah,
it
I think it was the
office?
office.
With the bear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Etta noticed them too.
Okay.
Etta noticed them too. She's just
But
like,
she was talking to somebody, and she had her little skirt, and I was like, oh, those tights are cute.
Right? They were so cute.
Mm-hmm.
But when they go bowling, this is
Lars is the worst boiler.
yes. He literally throws the ball into the lane next to theirs.
And
she's-
it
she-
lands a gutter in that one.
Yeah,
too.
but she tells him, you put too much spin on it.
yeah.
No, he yeeted that ball like he yeeted that flower.
Yeah.
She was trying to make him feel better.
Uh-huh.
He fucked that up. Even I am terrible at bowling. I've never done that.
Yeah.
But the guys that work with Gus showed up. And for a second, I got scared. I thought this was going to be a moment where they were going to be assholes.
Mm-hmm.
But this scene turns into every bowling experience I've ever had. You're shitty at bowling, but everyone is still having a great time. Because they're all laughing and cheering each other on. And like one of the guys gets just a complete gutter ball. And he's like, yeah, that was great. I meant to do that. They are having the time of their fucking lives here.
Yep.
And Lars is he's feeling joy in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's smiling. He's having fun.
Because they're letting him be himself, but also including him without forcing him to be there.
And even like the guys are like when they go to sit back down, like you'll see they'll high five or they'll pat each other. No one touches Lars. I assume because they know he doesn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still including him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he leans over and he's like, "That was good. Good shot. Good job."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. But
I think he gets a strike.
you might no.
Lars, I swear he bowled like the last one he bowled, didn't
He
he?
didn't get a strike.
It wasn't a strike?
There's still a few pins left.
Oh.
In
It
the
was
match.
a good roll though compared
It
to
was a good roll.
that
I mean,
first
That
one.
first one.
The bar was on the floor with that
Yeah.
first one.
That bar was
you
in the
asked
gutter.
that,
Yeah.
but no, there were
Yeah.
a few pins left.
Yeah, but it was
It was a good roll.
another great scene.
Mm-hmm.
That my mind immediately went, oh no, they're gonna ruin this. They're gonna be
Yeah.
complete dickheads. But we never get that in this movie.
We really didn't.
The worst we got was those two people at the party and Gus at the very beginning with Bianca refusing to accept it. And then after that, everything is uphill, literally.
Mm-hmm.
When they're done bowling, it's just Margot and Lars, and they're I don't remember the exact words of the conversation, but Lars is telling her that, I would never, a good man never cheats on his woman.
Mm-hmm.
And Margot is like, no, of course not. No, of course not. I would never, no. And they're leaving, and he takes his glove off, and he shakes her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see when they shake hands, he has this look of relief on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Touching Margot doesn't cause him pain. And he's like, holy shit.
The touch therapy's working.
Yeah. But also he's like, this person I'm comfortable with. Because in that scene with the touch therapy, when he first mentions he doesn't like being touched, he says touching Bianca doesn't hurt.
Right.
So now he's like, oh, touching Margot doesn't hurt either. Mm-hmm. But we've already established earlier, his delusion's already breaking.
Mm-hmm.
And that started once he realized he was getting jealous of Margot and Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Which could have been a complete setup from the jump anyway.
Yes.
She might have been like, hey, Eric, I need you to pretend to date me.
Oh, that'd be another fucked up twist.
Mm-hmm.
She was just using Eric.
Yeah, just use.
She was definitely probably using Eric.
Eric was just in on it. That's why he was always able to see them at the same time.
Oh, gosh.
Stop.
And then she's just like, all right, I'm going to tell him that I broke up with you that way,
Part of Margot's devious plan.
Because, like, right after that happened, just like, oh, yeah, I broke up with him. It's like, oh, that's messed up. Like, so you want to go out? Like, yeah, of course. I was like, she rebounded fast.
But again, to play on what we talked about with Margot earlier when we first see her at work, she's not hitting on him or knocking the microphone over like Etta,
Hush.
she's just trying to be his friend. She just asked him, "Hey, do you want to go hang out and go bowling?"
Lars knows what's up.
Lars knows.
It's like women don't just ask you to hang out. That ain't a thing.
Oh my gosh.
You want to just go chill and be friends? Nah.
When I'm in this house, I never see Erica. I gotta go find her.
Right?
What? I'm always in one spot. I'm like the easiest person to find.
But we have our next doctor's appointment, and Lars asks Dagmar if she thinks these treatments are working, and she says, "I don't know." And he says again that he asked her to marry him, Bianca. And Dagmar says, "Well, what did she say?" She said no again, or I don't know, or she didn't say anything at all. And Dagmar looks up at him, and she's like, "She didn't say anything?" And she's further realizing, all right, he's getting better. This is good. This is what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the pink room, Lars is like patting Bianca's forehead with like a wet rag because he's like saying, "Oh, this will help you feel better." And this is again one of the Etta mentioned earlier. The doll has 9 different faces. This is where she starts to look kind of ill because the Bianca being sick and him patting her forehead. He puts her to bed. The scene shows that Gus checks in on her, and he closes the door, and it shows the outside of the house, and it fades to morning, and then we have this very jarring sound of Ryan Gosling's character screaming, "Wake up!" And he's just, "Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!" Everyone rushes in. You go, "Bianca's not waking up. There's something wrong." And
Yeah, they're like, what do we do? Like,
because Gus is like, "Hey, it's okay. She's probably fine.
she
probably fine.
looks fine.
She looks fine."
Yeah.
But Kira's also like, "Are you sure?"
But she also says, "Call 911." And Lars runs out of the room, and Gus is like, 911.
911.
I didn't know what else to do. And then we have an ambulance ride to the hospital for a doll.
I would
It's wild.
pay money to be in on that conversation with the ambulance.
Oh my god.
There's so many missed conversations in this movie.
Like, oh god, I need that to be a deleted scene because it'd be so funny.
I want that, but I also want Jeremy suggested earlier
an
alternate cut where we see all Bianca's
All of
responses.
Bianca's dialogue.
That would be fucking phenomenal. But when they get to the hospital, there's a nurse standing kind of like right there by the ER, and they got a call about this because they're here. And they rush Bianca in, and Dagmar is there, and they're asking Dagmar about, how could you let this happen? And she says, "I'm not letting it happen. Lars is letting it happen. Lars is in control of all this. He has been since the beginning."
Mm-hmm.
And they come out, and Lars is virtually in tears. And Dagmar says Bianca is very sick. And Gus and Karen are like kind of shocked, like, "Oh my god, is she gonna be okay?" And Lars says she's dying. And I think that's where we have the conversation of how could you let this happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got a little out of order. And it
Yeah, because I feel like they definitely thought, why did you tell him that the doll was dying?
yeah.
Right. And she's like, I didn't.
It wasn't me.
It's
It was
Lars.
him.
Yeah.
He made this whole thing up.
Yeah.
I have just been here eating sandwiches and fruit and stuff, and he's just been tripping in my office.
Well, she started with the treatments though.
Yeah.
But it was just to get.
It was just to get along with Lars.
Yeah, just to
Right.
get along.
Yeah.
It's like
So
It was
he-
a ruse.
So he took that and ran with it.
Yep.
clever ruse.
But she
I feel like my reaction,
oh no.
Oh, what did you do?
I would have been like, "Oh no."
Erica's inability to show sympathy. She's like, "Oh, that's awful."
Sorrows, prayers, sorrows.
Thoughts and prayers.
Oh god, it would have been so good. Like,
Oh my
You would have been like,
God.
oh no.
oh no.
The thoughts and prayers would have been plentiful. We got the whole church in. I'm just praying.
But I would also the smile on my face behind my hands because I would have been like, "Oh my god."
That's terrible.
Oh.
You've been like Bill Hader in that SNL sketch.
Yes, like, oh no.
That's a bummer. You seem pretty happy about it. No. But There's a shot of these like two. They look like two nurses staring in the room because Lars is in there with Bianca.
Yep.
And the nurse that was there when they arrived walks up and she closes the door. She's like, "Go to work."
Wasn't she in the friend group? Karen's friend group?
She might have been.
I think she was.
Yeah. Okay. She might have been. We don't get a lot of screen time with her.
Right.
But she could have been.
No.
But they bring her home. They're gonna make her comfortable.
As she's dying.
As she's dying, we're losing Bianca, sadly. And Lars falls asleep next to her in the pink room. And he gets up the next morning. He goes downstairs, and he walks outside. And when he turns around, there are all these flowers and cards for Bianca. There's pictures of people with Bianca. This town is delightful.
They had the children write Bianca get well soon cards.
Right.
Yeah. Lars is going downstairs, and the old ladies are there in the house. It's Mrs. Gruner and two other ladies, and they fix him a plate. And they sent Gus and Karen to the movies, and they're like, "Well, I mean," or Lars is like, "Well, what do we do?" "Well, nothing, dear. You just sit. You know, when people need help, if nothing else, you just come sit with them. You know, that's all it is. You make them feel comfortable. Make them feel like they're loved." And Lars starts eating, which again he doesn't usually do around people. He's not comfortable.
I like how each of the old ladies is doing a different craft.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. One's crocheting, one's knitting, and one's cross stitching. Yeah, all things my mother used to do.
All things I've done.
Yeah,
Old lady.
old lady hobbies.
I love a good old lady hobby.
Shout out to old lady hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
Put on an audiobook. Oh, you're about to have a good time.
The only thing they were missing is someone doing a puzzle. But we get Bianca. God, I am fucking that up so bad. We get the scene of Gus and Karen coming up to the pink room, knocking on the door, saying, "Hey, we're gonna go up to the lake.
Yeah, she's like, I got spring fever. But then looking outside.
It's spring."
Where's spring?
Okay, for you,
Where's spring?
You poor Southern child. When you grow up in a place that has 4 seasons that are actual 4 seasons, spring is cold.
Spring is light summer.
No. In South Carolina,
You know,
it's late summer.
Spring starts end of March.
Yeah, and
Where-
by that point, it's usually like 84 degrees.
In
Not
South
necessarily.
Carolina. This is Wisconsin, and I can say up in New York, spring is cold. There's still slush and shit on the ground.
That's true, because we went up to see your mom
In May.
in May. It was like after Memorial Day, and it was fucking chilly. Which is insane.
Like 50s or 60s, maybe?
Yeah, they don't get spring until like May.
Yeah. We actually have 4 proper seasons.
By that point, it's summer.
Yeah.
We got the long, hard summer here.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So, Erica doesn't know how seasons work.
I don't understand spring.
Shout outs to the South.
Yeah.
You guys just have humidity.
Yeah.
But she says we have the spring fever, and they ask if Lars wants to go to the lake, and then they're like, all right, we didn't get a response. Bianca, do you want to go up to the lake? And I think then the door opened.
Yep.
What a ploy.
Does Bianca always say yes to everything?
Seems
Is
like
she
it.
just like a yes girl?
She's down for anything. She wants new experiences.
Not the marriage.
You're right.
Oh,
You're right.
damn.
The only
She's
thing.
like, I don't need that shit.
Mm-mm.
Strong, independent woman.
Strong.
She's like, I ran away from a marriage to the Lord. I'm not marrying myself to another man.
Yeah, because she's a missionary and she's on sabbatical, so she can experience the world.
Yeah,
Lars
she
told
becomes
them
a
when they
nun.
first met.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they go up to the lake and they're sitting there, and Gus and Karen decide to go on a little walk, and Lars is sitting there with Bianca, and he starts crying, and he kisses her. And this is the first time we've actually seen that, but he actually kisses her on the lips, and this is the part of the movie I thought I had seen this clip before.
I definitely remember it being different.
And the way I remember this, and this was my first time watching this movie, but I swore I'd seen a few scenes. He's violently drowning this doll in the lake, like screaming and crying and everything.
I remember
Splashes.
similarly to that, but he like carries her into the water and just holds her head under the water and is just crying.
I don't know what what that is.
But that's what I
Not what
remember
happens. Karen and Gus see from across the lake. Lars is down in the water, and sadly, Bianca has died, but it's because he drowned her. He's got her head underwater, and he pulls her head back up, and you can it's far away, but you can hear him crying. He put her out of her misery.
I feel like there could have been an easier way. We could do this in the house, but
It's
With
his,
what, a pillow?
yeah.
It's what his delusion needed. He's like, no, you started this. You need to end it.
Also, that was like a rough.
Oh my gosh, she was going through it.
That was the
Gaunt.
scene where I was saying to Ed, I'm just like, Bianca looks sick. And Ed's like, no, she's not. Shut up. I'm like, Bianca looks sick. Just like, no, she isn't. Shut up. I think we repeated it like 5 times or so.
Until I
And
finally
then
looked it up.
she looked it up and was like, okay, apparently the doll actually did look sick. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I told you that doll looked sick. I knew it wasn't crazy.
I'm glad you looked that up and found that, because I wasn't looking in the doll that hard. Like, I noticed a difference when they washed the makeup off, and after
Right.
that, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
But then we go to
And this part is where I was like, I feel like I've seen this. I was like, they are not going to bury this doll.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh God, I think I remember. I don't know where I would have seen this movie, but I was like,
At my house.
you know what? That checks.
And you just push it out of your memory
Probably.
hard.
so this is just new for me and Jeremy.
Well, I didn't remember any of the movie.
Any of it.
But when I was like, they're not about to bury this doll, and I was like, they're going to bury this doll. And I was like, oh God, have I seen this movie before?
Yeah, because the next scene is her funeral.
Yeah.
And they're in the church. Everyone's there. People are crying. Father Bach is up there talking about how Lars asked everyone not to wear black today.
Okay, so was his suit blue or black?
It was blue. It was a dark
Okay.
blue.
Lars, yeah, dark blue. No, what got me was
I think it's the same suit he wore to the party.
Okay.
that checks out.
Yeah.
But it was Dagmar that got me. I thought she was wearing black, but she's just
Me
wearing
too.
like an emerald or a deep green color.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we have this really sweet funeral service. He talks about, Bianca touched all of our lives. She was really great.
She was a pillar of the community.
There's a
honestly.
She really was.
Picture of her
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
with her hair done. I was like, oh my God. Somebody had to take a picture of this doll.
That's the school board picture.
Oh
Oh, fuck yes.
This gotta be the school board picture. They're like, did anybody take a picture of her? Like, yeah, for the school board, we took one. It's right here. Here you go. Like, thank you.
She will be missed. Now we got to get a new person on the school board.
Right?
Oh my gosh. They're probably like, damn, we really had plans for her.
Yeah, they lost a
And-
pillar of the
Man,
community.
Bianca was organizing a damn bake sale.
They lost a pillar of the community.
I wonder how
Tragic.
many committees she was like head of, like in charge of leading. Like, I low-key feel like Bianca was potentially alive.
We need a director's cut.
Yeah.
At the very end, it cuts back to that lake, and she's drowning Lars.
Oh God.
She's becoming a real girl.
And now it's a horror movie.
Right?
But we go to the actual cemetery, and they buried Bianca, and Gus is standing over. I think he's looking over at his parents' headstones, and Dagmar walks up to him. She's asking if he's okay. He goes, "Yeah, I'm okay. I don't come here that often." And he thanks her for everything she did for Lars, and she's. Does she have some comment about I didn't really do much. It was all Lars himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was all his delusion, and he was, he came out of it on his own, something like that.
Did he come out of it? We are at a funeral for this doll.
But
It's okay.
he killed the doll.
Which, if
He's
I
the
was
one that made the
Margot,
doll sick.
I'd be a little worried.
Oh, she was not worried. She's like, that is a single man now.
Margot's gonna catch a cold, and he's gonna. Oh, I had to put her out of her misery.
Just like, let's go to the lake, Margot.
But they're standing there like, Lars really is remarkable, and they turn and look, and he puts his hand on Karen's baby belly. He finally finally shows that he's accepting it.
Right.
He's making so much progress even outside of what's going on with this doll.
He only had to spend $4,200 to do it.
Small price to pay.
Yeah.
And a
Well,
wheelchair.
price to pay.
I think he got the wheelchair for free from the hospital.
Oh.
Nah, he bought that. He said he was going to buy a wheelchair
Ah. Okay.
Oh yeah,
in
he
one
did.
of the scenes. Yeah.
Mhm. You can also rent them from your local fire department.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I've done that for my mother. Margot comes up and talks to Lars, and she says something really sweet about Bianca, and Lars said she asked me not to be sad because she wouldn't want me to be sad, and they're standing there for a second in silence, and Lars says, "Do you want to take a walk?" Because they said something about they should probably get inside or go
Catch up with everybody else.
Catch up with everybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "You want to go for a walk?" She smiles, "Yeah," and then our movie ends.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
the movie.
That's a heartwarming, delightful little film. And now I will ask everyone if they would have regretted seeing this in the theater. And I'll start with Etta.
Why me? I don't know. It's not. I don't think I would have seen it in the movie in the theaters because the title is kind of misleading. Like I would have never figured out that a real girl was a sex doll. So I don't know. It feels like one of those movies that you watch like on the couch with your family on like a random day, and then you're like after the movie you're like, is everybody good? Are we all good?
You feeling safe?
Yeah. So I don't know. It
Jeremy?
could go either way.
That's always good when Jeremy starts with just a noise.
Right?
I probably would have. In 2007, 17-year-old me, nah, I wouldn't have watched that. I'd have been like, that movie sucked. Although now, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's less about what you would have thought of it when it came out,
at
and
the
more
time.
what you think about now.
Now, I feel like it was a good watch now. So, I don't know if I would have went to the theaters and seen it, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have seen it in theaters. But it was a pretty good watch for a movie on streaming.
Erica?
The only reason I didn't see it in theaters is because it wasn't playing anywhere near me. Like, I loved this movie. I watched it on HBO. I owned the DVD. I loved this movie. I still love it.
I would have regretted seeing this in the theater. Like, I like it.
This was your pick.
It was my pick. Because we had talked about it for so long, and I just never watched it. Like I said at the top of the episode, it finally gave me the excuse. But I would have regretted seeing this in the theater. A lot of it, I think, is just because I think the ending here with the way it just ends with you want to go for a walk, it kind of hit like a wet thud for me. Not that it was bad, it just I felt like there was a little bit more there, but
You needed her to go to the lake and drown as well.
yes, I need more
Gotcha.
woman death in my movies.
Gotcha. That checks out.
But no, I mean,
You needed Hector from the Hector multiverse.
that would have absolutely improved it if Hector just walked through the screen. Mm-hmm. But as someone who grew up with two mentally ill parents, the way they handled everything going on with Lars, I thought was great. Everyone was there to help him. We said throughout the entire episode, the people in this town are delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone cared so much to help him get better. They fed into his delusion just to help him out.
This was an amazing community.
Yes.
I would argue they more than fed into his delusion. They made Bianca a real girl.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
This community was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a delightful movie, but I would not have wanted to see this in the theater.
How long was this movie?
This movie was an hour and 40-something minutes.
Okay.
And that was another thing.
It just seems short, though.
To me, it seemed long.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
When I watched it, both the first and second time when I was taking notes the other day,
Yeah.
it seemed like a bit of a drag, but I can't say I didn't like it. It just, for some reason, it was a slow burn for me.
I gotcha. It was shot in 31 days.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so they really wrapped it up.
That's great.
No.
But yeah, so now is the time where everyone gets to guess what this would have cost us to see it in 2007. Give me some numbers.
$5.18.
Okay.
$5.85.
$7.50.
Jeremy's the closest.
Damn.
It is $6.88.
Damn.
$1 off.
You're about $1 off. Jeremy was about 70-something cents off, I think. So, our next episode, which I'm really excited to announce, is going to be our season 1 finale.
The finale already?
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Episode 20,
Damn.
Mad Max from 1979.
Damn.
The one without Tina Turner.
The one without Tina Turner. She's in Beyond Thunderdome.
I don't know if I've seen. I think I've seen the remakes. I don't know if I've seen the original.
I've seen parts of this movie, but I've never sat down and watched it in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever seen one, and that's the one with Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fury Road?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen any of them. I've avoided them.
It's good.
I've heard it's great. All of them have the same director, too, Greg Miller. George Miller, I apologize. The director, George Miller, directed all the Mad Max movies.
He's had a vision. Was it a fever dream like Terminator?
I don't know. He also directed Babe, Pig in the City.
Babe, Pig in the City?
And both Happy Feet movies.
Happy Feet.
So that has been our conversation on 2007's Lars and the Real Girl, directed by...
Giuseppe.
I lost the director. Oh, no.
Clark Giuseppe.
I fucked it up.
Well,
Greg Gillespie.
Craig.
I can't read. Craig Gillespie. For more information on future episodes, please follow us at Get2Theater on all social media accounts. Instagram, Facebook, Blue Skies, Threads. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks for our season finale, Mad Max. I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Etta.
I'm Jeremy.
We'll see you guys next time.